Tech tried to line it up, and he was like, I don't debate y'all. Y'all too disrespectful. Aboriginal Power won't even debate Sean because he's too disrespectful.
He is though. No, he really is though. I can't really like you, bro. You cool. Not a coincidence. I actually chop it over cuz. But niggas that come off too heated and disrespectful, like I said, I'll debate you, bro. But we gotta get in the ring first. If you're gonna be disrespectful like that, at least respect me. Disrespect me in the ring, bro.
Oh, God, bro.
Let's start now, bro. Can you disrespect me in a cage, bro? Like, I'd rather just do that. Then we go straight from the cage. I mean, put your ice on the way to the motherfucking computer, and we'll debate directly after that, nigga. Shit.
That's why I don't even be. Fucking with the nigga and shit. You feel me? Like, it's like, wait, bro, talk like that.
He is.
We gotta get face to face with you to talk to you like that, my nigga.
Yeah, Peanut. You feel? Go ahead, I got my brother already. Peanut, what's the word, my brother? What's the champ?
Yeah, I appreciate you, man, but Lucky, let me say this, man. First of all, I'm an older brother. I'm young in spirit because I stay in shape. But I'm older. I deserve respect. Don't lie on me. You're not going to get nowhere lying because that's what's going to make you fall face first. Second of all, I'm well known in the Pan-African community. I'm not nobody new. You're younger than me. You don't know this. I didn't put in work and expose Rob Bourne, Sutek, any of them people over there. They know it deep down inside. And I'm gonna be long-winded. I'm a Moorish American. I already had back and forth with them dude. They erased videos. I'm not running from anybody. Don't ever say that stupid shit again. Third, and last but not least, I'm not losing no debate to no Pan-African. So don't ever say that shit again, famo. And that's it. Appreciate y'all, man.
You heard that? If Sean P want to debate, don't debate the champ over here, right?
Sutek wanted so this like it's a pecking order. It's a pecking. So Sean want you, and Sutek want him. You say PMF ain't on his
no problem. There's no problem, man. Let's set up a Sutek debate, man. I don't like him anyway.
Okay, so I love that son, brother. I love that warrior mentality.
Let's have it on. I love you. Tell Sutek. Tell me. There ain't nothing. My champ always in the chat. I have him pop in. We'll set a topic. We'll set a date. Make it pay-per-view. We chop it up behind the scenes. I get their contact. We make it work. Word right here. He ain't ducking no phase, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. He do this over here on y'all channel. But then when we get on other
hey, all right, I will block your ass, nigga, because I'm well known for disrupting them chats over there, nigga. Stop fucking lying, nigga. You a goofy, nigga. I would never let a lame ass nigga lie on me in my face, clown.
You gonna block me? And I don't be.
It ain't no time I ain't ever been on the Pan-African channel and made my impact. Stop lying. I'm a real man, bro. Stop lying, fam. Don't do PNF like that.
PNF, he trying to trigger you, brother. And
word the fuck up.
So listen, he did that to me, talking about, oh, word on the street, I'm ducking from John P. I've never even had but one conversation with this little disrespectful motherfucker.
Oh, okay, yeah, he a little hot. He like that.
So he like...
Peace to everybody in the chat. Your boy Sean P in the place to be. Like the show, share the show, tell a friend, we live. I'm Abo Hunter. Come one, come all. The biggest to the smallest. Where you at? This is the second day in a row. I have been looking for the Abos, and they are running. Why is that? What y'all got to hide? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Because we're interested in knowing what it is that you can show and prove. That's why we're here. Y'all act like y'all are so about it. People telling me you're saying my names on shows I never watched. You won't put my name in the title. You won't tag me or add me. At least I tag you and at you when I talk about you. So it ain't no secret, no rhyme, no reason. I'm letting it be known. Well, let's get into today's build. This is going to be interesting. Now, I'm going to slow walk this as I share my screen, because I want to show people how to properly read a damn scientific article. Published 11 hours ago, 12 now. Indigenous Mexicans migrated to California 5,200 years ago. Likely, look what it says, likely bringing their languages with them, and ancient DNA reveals. So let's just take a look and see who's doing what here. The research challenges the idea that languages from prehistoric Mexico spread along with maize farming in California. Hunter-gatherers, my bad, ladies and gentlemen. Boom, that's better. For the older people out there, you know what I'm saying? Protect the eyesight. Hunter-gatherers from Mexico migrated into California more than 5,000 years ago, potentially spreading distinct languages from the south into the region nearly 1,000 years earlier than previously thought. A new genetic study details. The findings challenges the idea that what are known as the Aztecan languages, which includes the Aztec, the Toltec, and the Nahuatl, as well as the Hopi and the Shoshone, was spread northward by prehistoric migrants from Mexico along with maize. Yeah, I read it earlier when it came out. I just didn't say nothing about it. You know me, I like to sit on shit for a minute. The data and the location of this genetic material coming into California is really important for understanding the Uto-Aztecian migration. Study-led author Nathan Nakatsuka, a population geneticist and a postdoctoral fellow at the New York Genome Center, told Live Science. We haven't fully figured it out, but we did provide evidence for a substantial migration of people coming into California at this time, he said. The research was published on Wednesday, November the 22nd in the Journal of Nature, was carried out when Nakatsuka was a student at Harvard Medical School. I'm going to go to the Journal of Nature here in a minute, but this is our first stop in our research. I'm waiting on the PDF to download. All right, so I got the PDF to download. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Hold on, y'all. All right, so I don't know if you can see this or not. So let me take you here. Same article. Genetic continuity of change among the indigenous peoples of California. Before the colonial period, California harbored more language variations than all of Europe, and linguistic and archaeological analysis have led to many hypotheses to explain this diversity. We report genome-wide data from 79 ancient individuals from California and 40 ancient individuals from northern Mexico dating to 7,400 to 200 years before present. Our analysis document long-term genetic continuity between people living in northern Channels Island of California and the adjacent Santa Barbara mainland coast from 7,400 years ago BP to modern Chumash, groups represented by individuals who lived around 200 years ago. The distinct genetic lineages that characterize present-day and ancient people from northwest Mexico increased in frequency in southern and central California by 5,200 years, providing evidence for northern migrations that are candidates for spreading Uto-Aztecian languages before the dispersal of maize agriculture from Mexico. Individuals from the Baja California share more alleles with the earliest individual from Central California in the data set than with later individuals from Central California, potentially reflecting an earlier linguistic substrate whose impact on local ancestry was diluted by later migrations from inland regions. After 1,600 years, ancient individuals from the Channels Island lived in communities with effective sizes similar to those in pre-agricultural Caribbean and Patagonia, and smaller than those of California and mainland and in sample regions. All right, so in that version, it stops because you have to be subscribed. That's why I had the PDF to bypass all of that. But hold on. It says the same thing in the abstract. All right. Y'all should be able to see it. People have lived in California since at least 13,000 years BP. All dates are calibrated in years BP in the remainder of the paper based on archaeological evidence from northern Channel Islands off Southern California and the mainland, which were occupied by people speaking Chumashan languages at the time of the European contact. Pause. So when the people first come into contact with the Europeans, they were speaking a Chumashan language, if I'm saying that correctly. If not, I can be corrected. I don't mind that. I don't speak their language, so the pronunciations to me are not as if. What's going on, sis? What's up, Tonio, Sutek, Shabaka, Zane, Juju, Miss I Bellet, and everyone else tapped in. So basically, the purpose and the intent of this particular read is not only to draw out two things, but to provide an actual perspective of how we know who the first people to populate the Americas are. We know who they are. So this paper is going to argue that, but before we get back into the crevice of the paper, I want to provide an easier read, which is in the live science for the lay, because this other paper begins to get really technical in the Journal of Nature. So, northward migration. Nakasuka, remember he the researcher, and his colleagues studied ancient DNA extracted from the teeth and bones of 79 ancient people found at an archaeological site in Central and Southern California. Pause. Earlier, when we were reading from the other Journal of Nature position, it talked about 79 people. I don't know if you recall it at all, but it mentions the 79 people in the abstract. Now that you know that the 79 people that they were referring to, they extracted the DNA using their teeth. The remains were dated between 7,400 and 200 years ago. So that tells you how old they knew, well, how they got those ages because of how they dated the bones, etc. They also extracted ancient DNA from the remains of 40 people from sites in the northwest and central north of Mexico, which were dated between 2,900 and 500 years ago. By comparing the ancient genomes, the researchers found evidence for increased migration from northern Mexico into southern and central California about 5,200 years ago. The timing of this migration refutes an existing idea that the spread of maize farming about 4,300 years ago led to the spread of the Uto-Aztecian languages as migrant farmers prospered more than the hunter-gatherers who lived there before them. But the new study indicates that such languages may have been spread instead by a migration of hunter-gatherers that occurred nearly 1,000 years earlier. So we want to go to this other scientific site, right, that talks about the diffusion of maize. If I can access it, give me a second. All right, stay there. Okay, all right, cool. So this talks about the diffusion of maize to the southwestern United States and its impact. And in this abstract, it says, and this is not as long, okay? It says, our understanding of the initial period of agriculture in Southwest United States has been transformed by recent discoveries that established the presence of maize there about 2100 BC. This is calibrated calendrical years before Christian era and documented processes by which it is integrated into local foraging economies. Here we review archaeological, ecological, linguistic, and genetic data to evaluate hypotheses that Proto-Uto-Aztecian farmers migrating from a homeland in Mesoamerica introduced maize agriculture to the region. We conclude that this hypothesis is untenable and that the available data indicate instead a Great Basin homeland for the PUE, which is the Proto-Uto-Aztecian. The breakup of this speech community into northern and southern divisions 6900 BC and the dispersal of maize agriculture from Mesoamerica to the U.S. Southwest via group-to-group diffusion across southern Uto-Aztecian linguistic continuum. So there's two significant sources that are in the belly of our easy read. Natasuka acknowledged the possibility that later spread of maize farming into California may have been the result of an early migration, when the first wave of migrants were joined by related people who farmed by corn by that time. But at the very least, we see that people are coming up here into California earlier than maize farming, he said. The first people to reach the Americas arrived tens of thousands of years ago, according to the analysis of evidence found at several sites, including 14,500-year-old human poop. If you don't recall the other show, I think we talked about this human poop. From Paisley Caves in Oregon, that's how I know that we talked about the human poop. Now, 14,550-year-old artifacts from Mount Verde, Chile, and 23,000-year-old human footprints in White Sands National Park in New Mexico. We've talked about the footprints and Mount Verde. So why is this significant? Because this provides evidence of the first people to reach the Americas. Prior to the dates provided, there is no people in the Americas. It's uninhabited. Once humans had arrived, they migrated within the Americas, and this latest study reveals a previously unknown regional migration. The researchers also found shared genetics between the ancient peoples of California, Northern Channel Islands, and the adjacent coast, and the indigenous Chumash people, whose genetics were represented by the individuals in the study who lived about 200 years ago. So, what do we know about the Chumash? We don't know much about the Chumash. The people who claim to be these people never talk about them. But the Chumash and Gabrielano Tongva peoples were the first human inhabitants of the Channel Islands and Santa Monica Mountain areas. It says here, our peoples are known to have lived here for thousands of years. Numerous archaeological sites have been uncovered in the past decade, some of which date 15,000 years ago, more referring to the 14,500. But here are the people. We got some $5 Indians in the crowd over there taking pictures of these people. But as you can see, their culture is on demonstration, and we see the natives in the background. They're on a reservation, of course. But where are the real people that say they've been here, right? They're going to say these are fake people. So where the real people at? We're not seeing them. So anthropologists have written that there were 20,000 Chumas living in the area that covers California coast from Malibu in the south to San Luis Obispo in the north at the time of the European occupation. The successful livelihood of the Chumas people was based upon subsistence upon the available natural resources, plants, animals, and fish, and their sustainable ways of utilizing these resources. The ancestors found uses for almost every type of plant and animal available, for food, clothing, medicine, baskets, canoes, and tools. The natural environment inspired art, Chuma's rock and cave art, still exists today. Belief stories, ceremonies, and songs, the rich history and life ways of the Chuma's people is preserved in those art forms, which were passed down to the children of each generation. They look like any of the people we've been arguing with on a day-to-day basis, who are claiming to have always been here. Now, back to our article. I'm showing y'all how I'm getting to those articles, so hopefully that you're following the flow of the read so that you can extract more additional information that provides the substance to you once you pull the article up and read it. You should be hitting every blue link that's in the article so that you can get information off of it, unless you're already familiar with the information that's provided in the blue link. Nakasuka said that an important part of the study was obtaining ancient DNA while trying to ensure that indigenous customs, including burial practices, were respected. We involved indigenous groups in the conversation from the get-go, he said. We wanted them to guide a lot of this research and have the questions that they're interested in being answered or be answered. Robert Harder, professor of the anthropology at the University of Texas at San Antonio, who wasn't involved in the research, said the study gave a deeper understanding of the relationship among the different groups of indigenous peoples. This study helps reject the hypothesis that ancient Udo-Aztecian brought maize and shows that the Udo-Aztecians were moving from Mexico into California long before maize was present, he told Live Science in an email. He noted that the remains of many of the individuals analyzed in the study have been curated in museums in the United States and Mexico for many decades. Now, with advances in ancient DNA technology, these individuals are being given a voice through the research to help write their history. Ford says, I don't know what this video, oh, yeah, I do. But we ain't getting into this commercial break. So that's the letter. Now, we can go back. Most of us would reread this article. There's a reason why we would reread this article. Because that initial read, you thinking that you covered everything, but you may have missed the point of something. So instead of reading this article, we hop over to the real work, which would be the Journal of Nature, and we would pick up where we left off. This is more specific. Here's why this is more specific. California also harbors some of the highest linguistic diversity of the region in the Americas, which is relevant to understanding human population relationships, as language often correlates with movements of people. Linguistic diversity among native Californians includes multiple major groupings, which have varying divergent time estimates, some exceeding 6,000 years BP. In the North, language families include Algic, including Yurok, for example, Athabascan, including Hoopa, and Yukian, named for the Yuki. In the central part of California, including the coast and interior valley, the Ute languages occur, spoken by the Miwok and the Ohlone tribes. Languages with the Chusman families characterize the northern Channel Islands and the adjacent land in the Santa Barbara region. In Southern California, speakers of the Uto-Aztecian languages predominant, including the Tongva and the Peo-Makwa-Chum. Last, there are smaller language families, for example, the Yuman, the Kochimi, and isolated, for example, the Washu. How these divergent languages families came to be in such close proximity needs to be understood in a larger context. This is because migration in one direction or another must have been responsible for some families, such as the Algic and the Uto-Aztecian, to have wide dispersal, in the case exceeding far beyond California. The Uto-Aztecian language family, in particular, is one of the most geographical widespread families in the Americas, ranging from the Shoshone in Idaho to the Pipil in Costa Rica and covering central and west coast of Mexico and the American Southwest. So here is a summary of data. Deals with the locations of analyzed ancient individuals. Newly reported locations are in bold. All data are ancient except Odom. Map was made using open source data and software using the R package maps as self and R natural earth. Excuse me. And dates of analyzed individuals with this full range of radiocarbon dates for the group. Marine reservoir calibrated methods. Asterisk indicates no radiocarbon date. The number of individuals per site is indicated on the right. So now we can go in and be more technical. This read is a lot. So you got to slow this all the way down. We got a summary of this article in the Live Science article, but here is where the work has to be done, because the conversation has to slow all the way down for you to process what the data is stating, unless you're familiar with it. Can you use the Live Science article and go and argue with people? I highly wouldn't recommend that. But I would recommend this: understanding the methods. Period. Understanding the methods. What was used in this study that we immediately know? They extracted DNA from teeth of 79 individuals. They had individuals that was in southwestern California. That was in Mexico and certain parts of California. These are the facts. From that, a lot of this information, well, a lot of the DNA that they extracted came from, what was it, mummies and stuff like that they had in fucking museums. That's what it said. So we can understand that. What was the data? What is the significance of the data? Because it talked about the migratory patterns and how shit moved. Language was significant, but as well as maize. It shows that they go up in there and they start teaching motherfuckers how to do maize and all of that. So these are important figures, but it is important to know the methods and not pretty much more so the other stuff. We need to know how they came to a conclusion. And the only way you know how to challenge the fact if the conclusion is accurate or come to your conclusion is the data. I don't need to hear from no one. I need the data. So these are the sites that are significant in this compelling research. And they continue on, but this is the technical piece. So we'll go over a lot of people's heads. And I understand why some people have a problem with it, but this was originally published in May 2022 I mean 2023, a few months ago. But more information has came out recently, and that's why the study is published. Okay. I just dropped the link in the chat. What's going on, Khalil? Big Chief Indian Life and Life. Vasa was good. It's good with everybody, man. How y'all doing? How many of my super black power people are not celebrating tomorrow? Where my super black power people at? I heard people hate me, man. I'm trying to figure out where my haters at. Where my haters at, yo? Yeah, yo. Yeah, yo. Yo. What y'all know about that song? Said Jay-Z, in case you didn't know about it. The gift and the curse. The best of both times. The worst of both times. Yeah. Come on, man. For the peoples. So let's pull up on touching this one. A talk in this one. We damn sure ain't watching on School Days. Let me go back. Click on this stuff. Yo. I need. Yo. Yo. We got a new pseudo. He ain't no new pseudo. He been pseudo. Look at this. Are the Olmec Africans? A review of Dr. Winter's claims. Can you please tell me why y'all are talking about Clyde the Glide pseudo? This dude, boy. Return of the Amaru gods and goddesses. This Negro then got all these football players and put them on the screen. Yo. This dude know how to make up some shit. I'm curious to see what he says, though, about this Clyde Winters cat. This dude ain't.
In University Park, St. Xavier was in Chicago. I've been doing research into Afrocentric history since the 1970s. I've
Pause. So it looks like he's sharing a video, a Moorish video, Moors in America, and it's on streaming on Facebook as well. And we see this dude with this damn stupid ass fez on his head, and it says the Mandi in the ancient Americas with Dr. Clyde Winters. So let's see where A1 takes this. We know that he's a little slow and challenged, but let's see where this goes. We hunt elbows.
try to, in a sense, be a scholar to really deal with all areas of of Black history. And I'm just here to, to teach the people our history.
Amen. That's beautiful, brother. And gratitude for sharing. Now, speaking of, I wish I had a picture of the book up here right now, but just
We
for
can
those
see
that
it.
don't know, could you give us a little information, maybe why you wrote this book, The Mande in the Ancient Americas?
Okay, well, the reason I wrote that book is that the Mande had a great influence on the Americas. And the Mande, I've been working on the Mande for years. Let me explain to you. Back in the day, I was I was writing material back in 72, 73 on Blacks in Ancient America. So then I read this book by Leo Viner. Leo Viner wrote a book called Africa and the Discovery of America.
Who did he say? He's saying Leo Weiner. He is saying, listen to me, he is saying Leo Weiner. Ladies and gentlemen, he is mentioning.
The reason I wrote that book is that the Mande had a great influence on the Americas. And the Mande, I've been working on the Mande for years. Let me explain to you. Back in the day, I was I was writing material back in 72, 73 on Blacks in Ancient America. So then I read this book by Leo Viner. Leo Viner wrote a book called Africa and the Discovery of America.
Pause. So let's go look up the book and see if he's saying the name right. He said Viner, Africa and the Discovery of America. Like I tried to tell y'all, it is Leo Weiner. It's Leo Wayne. Now we just got off a Not a Coincidences show where True Storian had just talked about how it was someone else under the influence. Well, here is Clyde Winter's influence. So now I'm gonna pause right there, and I'm gonna take y'all back. I'm gonna take you on a journey back in the Mossy land. Is it on here? No, it's not. It's not on here. But hold on. I'm gonna take y'all back. I'm gonna take y'all back though. You know, we ain't tripping. So we're gonna take y'all back, right? We're gonna go back a little while. We're gonna go back about 5 years. About 5 years. So give me a second. Because we're going to go back about 5, maybe 6 years. And let me pull this video up. Hold on 1 second. Give me a second. I got to pull this up. We don't hate over here. Even though we don't talk, even though we don't build, even though we don't see eye to eye on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? We don't hate. We don't hate. Seven years ago. 7.
What up, world? This is your boy Shabazz, and today we're going to talk about retiring Van Sertima's They Came Before Columbus. We're going to retire it respectfully. Well, I know I'm going to retire it with respect. And what I mean by retiring it with respect is we're not going to recommend nobody read this book. We're not going to recommend people study it, and we're not going to recommend people look at it for real facts. If it's something that you just want to read, to be reading, I mean, by all means, go ahead and get it. But this book is, or should be, retired. But before I get into why it should be retired, I'm gonna show you J.A. Rogers and why I don't recommend people to read J.A. Rogers, even though I'm a huge fan of J.A. Rogers, but I won't recommend his work. So let me show you J.A. Rogers' work. Like I say, I got all of J.A. Rogers' works. I have all of them. And I don't recommend his works to nobody. I'm a huge fan, but I won't recommend his works because everybody was black to J.A. Rogers. In these books, he tells you that he goes back 8 generations to consider somebody black. Now, back in the 20s and 30s, this was considered scientific. But in today's world, it just won't work. So I got all these works, man. Every last one of them. Shit, I even got the damn newspaper clippings. Rogers made a lot of mistakes, but I won't recommend them. If you want to get these works or grab his books, just to have in your library, by all means, go get them. But the thing is, you got to understand, Rogers made a lot of mistakes. And I retire his works with respect because I 100% respect J.A. Rogers. 100%. I'm actually writing an article to respond to Stephen Howe about J.A. Rogers. But I retire his works with respect because they're outdated. It is way, way outdated. And this is actually the only book that I recommend from Rogers to this day. And it's a play with loose facts. If you update the facts, man, it'll still be a great play. Like, I won't quote his facts, but I'll quote J.A. Rogers' statements. Like in Sex and Race, he says, the American Negro has become so Americanized that if it wasn't for his skin color, he wouldn't know where he came from. But this just J.A. Rogers, man. This is why I retire his works, because he made a lot of mistakes. It's outdated. And there's no way you should be quoting 1920s or 1930s research in 2016 that's based off of J.A. Rogers' research without actually looking at the source documentation. Which brings me to this book, They Came Before Columbus by Van Sertima. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I'm 100% respectful. I 100% respect Van Sertima and what he did or what he has done for us. 100%. Like, I was even working on an article to respond to this when they tried to go at Van Sertima. Even in their attacks, they fall short. Their first 2 points are on point. When you get to the third point about some damn noses, they done lost their mind talking about people in West Africa got different noses. Like, man, shut up. So yeah, man, I 100% respect Van Sertima. But factually speaking now, this is not a great book. This book is based off theories and hypotheses. And when he says, Leo Weiner, shit, you should go get Leo Weiner. And this book is what this book is based off of. This book is way outdated. Leo Weiner wrote this book in the 1920s. He actually wrote 3 volumes. This book is a combination of all 3 volumes. He basically said Africans came here with Arab influence. It's a cool book, but it's outdated. But this is not the only reason why this book is on my retiree list. Now, this book is the reason why we have to retire. They came before Columbus. This book is a mythology book. The title alone is telling you what the book is myths. All the myths of pre-Columbian America is in this book. All of them. All you gotta do is Google this guy's name and you'll see all the pseudo books he wrote.
I need to pause it right here because the major premise argued in the Aboriginal community and by other people who are regurgitating J.A. Rogers and who highlight Leo Weiner are predicated on this book. He is not lying. This book, the whole story where he makes the influences about a shipwreck story is in this book. This book, the North African shipwreck story, right here.
All of them. All you gotta do is Google this guy's name and you'll see all the pseudo books he wrote. Every myth of pre-Columbian America or people coming to America is in this book. Every myth, even the myth of, you ever hear the Moorish cats say when Albuquerque got to America, the Native Americans were like, "Oh, come another white one, come another white one." That's a corrupted story of the conquistadors. That story is in this book. But like I say, this is a mythology book. If you Google it, you can find it for free. I messed around and ordered it by mistake. See, like, I wouldn't have a problem if Van Sertima quoted this book once or twice. But Van Sertima quoted this book a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 right there.
Look, for those of you who have Van Sertima's book, all you have to do is go to
2, 3, 4, 5,
give it
6,
to you.
7.
Page 88, depending on which version you have.
There's 7 right there.
Page 88. Go to page 88. Pull your Van Sertima book out and go to page 88. Page 123, 124,
Where is it on
122,
here?
123, and 124.
8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
It's some more.
18.
Next page.
I'm through counting, man.
That was in the twos, like 224, I think.
I 100% respect Van Sertima.
But ladies and gentlemen, he quotes a mythos book. That's contaminated right out.
But this is a mythology book. That's why this book should be retired. With respect, because he also quotes another book.
Uh-oh.
And I mess with this book. This is a cool book. This is one of the first European sightings or stories or real reports
Great story.
of West Africa. How's it?
All right, so I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna bring us back to Abbeville. We're back in Abbeville now. Let's go back. Remember who he said influenced him.
Why you wrote this book, The Mande in the Ancient Americas?
Okay, well, the reason I wrote that book is that
Yes, I did mention this when I was beating up JJ on Facebook. Teddy, I absolutely did, because he was using Clyde Winters and he kept on name dropping Clyde Winters, and then I just snapped on him and I told him, what are you using Clyde Winters for when he was using a mythological book? We posted this all over Facebook, even argued back and forth with him several times, and it was respectfully. But he grew disrespectful.
that the Mande had a great influence on the Americas. And the Mande, I've been working on the Mande for years. Let me explain to you. Back in the day, I was writing material back in 72, 73 on blacks in ancient America. So then I read this book by Leo Viner. Leo Viner wrote a book called Africa and the Discovery of America.
Okay. So if you don't know who Leo Wiener is, I'm going to tell you who Leo Wiener is. And this is one of the biggest issues. Now, True Historian says that it's J.A. Rogers' fault. But I blame not only J.A. Rogers, I also blame Schomburg, because they introduced Leo Wiener to us. Now you got to be careful, because there's two like Leo Wieners that show up, and the one that you're looking for is not a composer. You're looking for the one that is, quote unquote, a historian and a linguist and a translator. This guy. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the bulk of our issues, because of people like Clyde Winters saying that he read this motherfucker's work, Wiener was born in Bialystok, then in Russian Empire, of Lithuania Jewish origin. That's what he is. He is a Russian Lithuanian Jew. He comes over here to do some work here, and then he begins to start projecting his rhetoric on us. These are his books, a lot of heavy romanticized stuff. But the ideology behind it all was that Schomburg introduces this guy to us under the pretenses, not of J.A. Rogers, but as a corroboration of the black people came here type of shit. And that was just outright wrong. But there was no way for them to qualify or substantiate this stuff, because at the head or the root of this was a lot of blackology earlier on. So there was methodological mistakes made by our earliest ancestors who were trying to edify us, but get us in a direction to fight for our history and culture and existence. It just so happened that some people got so romanticized out with our movement that they wanted to make everything black.
And so when I was reading this book, he talked about the influence of the Mande on the Aztecs, the Mayan language. He also had in there.
Listen to me. He's telling you who influenced him, and he upheld that. So when Van Sertimer comes through using the same source, He is in love with Van Sertima's perspective because Leo Weiner, he's got Leo Weiner. He's sourcing Leo Weiner. You've seen it in the book. Leo Weiner is in the book. So he's like, okay, this is the black wave. And this is the problem in the community today because this dude is holding on to a religious belief. And I say religious loosely, not as in practice, but as in thought. He has blackenized the entirety of everything. He has. And it's been a major issue. A major issue. And that's why we fighting the way we are with our brothers and sisters who wants to cling to this doctrine that Negroes populated the whole world and did this, that, and the third, and are X, Y, Z, and a whole bunch of other shit. So give me 1 second because I want to try to pull up something for y'all. I'm going in my file. That's what I was typing to see if I still had it. Oh yeah, here you go. Okay, so I have it right here. All right, now I haven't shown this to anyone, I don't think. So y'all will be the first. Tell me what you see in the very first instance of insert. Africa and the Discovery of America, Volume 1 by Leo Weiner, Professor of Slavic Languages and Literatures at Harvard University. The present volume is the first of a series in which Professor Weiner will show that Arab-sized Negroes, chiefly Mandingos, brought to America as slaves profoundly influenced the culture of the Indians and were an important, if not always direct factor in establishing the modus vivendi between the Indians and the Europeans, which made practicable the colonization of the New World. The book is packed with valuable data, newly discovered and brought together for the first time. It should be read slowly and read through at least twice before judgment is passed on it. With the first reading comes a shock. One learns that the journal of the first voyage and the first letter of Columbus are literally frauds, though containing material which came from Columbus' own pen, and that the tobacco, maniotic yam, sweet potatoes, and peanuts are not gifts of the Indians to the European. Yet, with a more intimate study of the subject matter, the conviction increases that the author has built upon the bedrock of fact, and that his position is unassailable. It is impossible within the limits of review to do more than to emphasize the most important of his discoveries. In his studies of his first letter and of the journals giving accounts of the first and second voyages of Columbus, Professor Weiner seeks to determine how much testimony they gave pertaining to Indian names and things, after the elimination of all that is not Indian. The non-Indian elements are of two sorts: the names of the islands and the world and the words for gold. Columbus dominated by the fixed idea that sailing westward, he would find a shortcut to India, China, and Japan, began with the first sight of land and engrossed with the task of identifying each newly discovered country with some of the island, of identifying each newly discovered country within some island or district on the far east, name of his maps. He was an ignorant man, though he knew Ptolemy and Marco Polo by heart. Credulous, uncritical, not consciously dishonest, but unready to correct false impressions caused by his ignorance and gullibility. His notes, as may be seen from a reproduction of a page of his manuscripts, were in execrable hand. The forge of the journal of the first voyage was no puzzle expert and made mistakes in deciphering scrawls. Thus, for example, the note, what is that word? I always say it. Gaia O Min or Java Minor was read Ghanaian. Remember, we had to look this up to show y'all where they were thinking they was talking about the arrows and gold tip arrows. This is that word right here that they're trying to say in Columbus's, which was an issue. So that word is what he's referring to. Remember, when you talk about the gold tips, that's the word, and the locations that are found. You can look up the article. There's a scientific article that goes further than that. However, the Indian name of the first island cited on October 12, 1492. Perhaps the best specimen of such ghost words in the journal of the name Carib. This is nothing but Marco Polo's Kambula, the capital of the Grand Khan, successfully misread on Canabu, and Cariba. Let me pause real quick. What you are reading here are things and talking points that people have made about Columbus's own words and assertions. Okay, you have heard these same words used by Abo talking points about the mysterious first and second letters of Columbus, right? But it wasn't until we recently provided further documentation to show the actual manuscripts and what they say in their own words. This person is just simply writing a review and saying what he thinks Wiener is attesting here. However, he goes on to say, Portuguese Maroroca is the African name of Guinea corn. The transference of the name from Guinea corn to Indian corn rests on a misunderstanding of a passage in Peter Martyr's first decade. The question arises whether or not there had been a colony of Europeans with African slaves in America before the arrival of Columbus. Fray Ramon Pan, Ovida, the Las Casas give Conico and other as the Indian word for farm plantation. This is clearly a Mandinka Kunki farm. The Indian word for Golo, according to the journal entry in January 13, 1493, is Kaona. It is found also in the name of Kaki Kaonabo, called in the Journal of Second Voyage, Master of the Mines, the names of being explained to the Liberador and the Lord of the House of Gold. I know you're like, Sean, why are you reading this? You have to read the information. You have to, because Wiener's arguments are hinged upon the things that are written in this review. It's written in this review. And you can corroborate what is said in this review with the book. There's more. I just don't want to read more. Because here lies the problem. This is one take. It says, the tobacco pipe in America, says Professor Wiener, began its career as a Mandinka amulet. That is a claim on page 184 of his book. This statement will distress the American archaeologists, but the arguments in support of it cannot be overcome. Per the reviewer, he says the tobacco pipe in America began its career as a Mandingo amulet. Can we find that? Let me see if I can pull it up. Mandingo amulet of, let me do 1493. And let me show what's on the screen so motherfuckers don't think I'm tripping. I don't see nothing. I have to do more digging. Look what else he says. A counterclaim of pre-Columbian antiquity for pipes found in the mounds cannot be made, since it is so clearly shown that the mounds are not prehistoric, but were fortifications erected along the lines of communication from Florida to Heron Country to protect the overland trade established in the beginning of the 16th century. In the journal of the first voyage, we find mentions of ajis and naimes and names of edible roots, but the account hopelessly confuses roots of yams, sweet potatoes, and manioc. Neither yams nor sweet potatoes are native to America. Neither yams nor sweet potatoes are native to America, and both bear in America only African names. Oviedo, indeed, says distinctively that the name is a foreign fruit and not native to these Indies. Also, that it came with the evil lot of Negroes, of whom there is a greater number than is necessary on the account of rebellions. Now, in Africa, the yam, cultivated before the coming of the Europeans, is known by names derived from Arabic: Arum, Gamba, Ewe Ade, Adzi, Mandinka, Inyambi, Malinke, Inyamiku, whence the supposed Indian names Aje, Eje, Niame, Ignami, used indiscriminately of edible roots. The African names of the manioc have come from the Arabic Urek roots, notably in the Congo languages Yuka, Yike, Idiko, plural Medioca, whence, as the plant was introduced into America, it was known there was Vuka, Mandioca. As to the sweet potatoes and the peanuts, the former were cultivated in Asia before discovery of America, while the later mentioned by Ibn Battuta as an article of food in Africa took to the New World their African names Mendube, Guber, and Pinda. Compare Mozambique, Mendue, Benzude, in Guba, and Yombe, Pinda. Professor Wiener's conclusion is the manioc culture was taught to the Brazilian Indians before 1492 by Portuguese castaways who knew of the economic importance of the plant in Africa, while the peanut spreading north and south of the Antilles may have reached America a few years before Columbus. The numerous full-page illustrations are extremely helpful in aiding the reader to a clear understanding of difficult points in the discussion. Pause. By reading this review, you would come to the conclusion that Leo Wiener's book was an excellent write and provided the necessary argument to substantiate the position in which not only Clyde Winters take, but also the use of Leo Wiener showing up in Van Sertima's work. That's why I read parts of this review to you, because it is critical to understand that this was made by Barry Phillips, AMSTB, Cambridge, Massachusetts. He concluded, to all seekers of truth, the coming of the second volume, in which Professor Wiener will deal exhaustively with the Negro element in Indian culture, would be an eagerly anticipated event. He is extremely someone in full support of Leo Wiener's work. This was a very biased review by him, but that is not for me to draw that conclusion. It is for you, if you're interested in this, to go read the book if you never have. And you can get it online for free. Leo Wiener is full of shit. Has always been. There was no African presence. He doesn't even provide the substantial evidence. But the thought of that and the way the review was written, you would come to that conclusion that this motherfucker was accurate. So Clyde Winters was influenced by him. Wasn't you, Clyde? Go on and talk about it.
Had Mandingo inscriptions. So what I did is that I began to decipher them. And as I deciphered them, I began—
Pause. How could you decipher something that ain't even been deciphered? And how did you, out of all the people, come to that conclusion? According to what methodology? Because Leo Wiener claimed that these inscriptions were indeed of the Mandinka language. We should see that, but you didn't. You didn't. So for those of you, because I did kind of play it before the mix-up happened, here you go.
And, a statuette, the Tushla statuette. The reason I wrote that book is that the Mandy had a great influence on the Americas. And the Mandy, I've been working on the Mandy for years. Let me explain to you. Back in the day, I was writing material back in 72, 73 on Blacks in Ancient America. So then I read this book by Leo Viner. Leo Viner wrote a book called Africa and the Discovery of America. And so when I was reading this book, he talked about the influence of the Mandy on the Aztecs, the Mayan language. He also had in there a statuette, the Tushla statuette. And this statuette, he said, had Mandingo inscriptions. So what I did is that I began to decipher them. And as I deciphered them, I began to do research. As I began to do more and more research on ancient America and really the world, I began to see that the Mandy people.
And I'm just going to say this right here, right? See, a lot of the elders and the brothers who present this information, they're still staying in the narrative, right? I can step outside that box. I don't have to be put in the educational or scholastic box to what evidence or information that I can say that's credible. You understand what I'm saying? Because like even when we get oppositions to stories or narratives that's out there, we have to investigate them too. So even when we get into the Mandis, right? We're not going to see that the Mandis invented no pyramids or whatever technology that the fucking Olmecs had. If they are coming over here and creating this here, then where they came from, that they would have to emulate the same goddamn thing. We don't want to hear about just no languages and a couple of symbols that look the same, because this is what's going on. They'll look at it and say, all right, well, this symbol right here looks similar to this, or this symbol looks similar to this. And when it comes to the languages, one of the best works that I've seen of comparison of languages, I mean, it's a couple of them, but one of the best that I've seen was from James Churchward in Symbols of Mu. The Lemurian language compared to the Mayan language compared to the Egyptian languages. And he show you from step to step to step to step. And all of these things are consistent with what we see. So for us to sit here and say, well, wait a minute, man. All right, the Mendi people. All right, so outside of the language, what else did the Mendi people, or what else are they known for? Are they known for science and technology? Are they known for implementing different architectures and different geometric and astronomy and cosmology, different influences? No, this is what's coming from America. I have never seen an astronomical observatory nowhere else on the planet, and the ones I have seen, it has been in shambles, and someone is trying to say that this brick right here connected to this brick, this was an astronomical observatory. We got one intact in Mexico in Chichen Itza.
See, I knew this would be fun. I knew this would be fun. He immediately takes himself out the scholastic box, but he agrees with the assertions because he doesn't want to, if Clyde was to say that everybody on the planet was Negroes, he agrees. But because he puts the implications at being Mandi and from West Africa, he comes outside of the box. The reason that he comes outside of the box because he wants to implement himself in the Americas before all of that, and he can't do that using Clyde Winters. Not him, not A1, not Legendary Top Cats, none of them, but they would use in part a lot of his arguments against us if you pay close attention. This dude is just giving us filler information right here that makes absolutely no fucking sense, can't be demonstrated or shown. He's using other people's culture, and he's telling you this can be shown in someone else's culture, and he mentions them, and then he doesn't provide the evidence. He's live. He can pause his screen. He can share his screen like I've been sharing my screen, and then he can go demonstrate that claim. Instead, he opts out of that, and he goes in to continue to talk.
So I've never seen none of them. I've never seen an astronomical observatory nowhere else on the planet outside of the new ones, the planetarians that we see that these Europeans have. Only thing they have done was mimic our science to what we already did.
What the fuck is our science, and why the fuck would the Europeans mimic it? There was nothing over here that was worth using for the European, because they had mastered everything that they needed to master before they got here. Weaponry was their biggest, and they captured that from the Chinese because that was the first time they ever seen fireworks. So what are you really trying to say, Autistic One? What you really trying to say? Because you said a whole bunch of bullshit, but we really trying to hear what you really trying to say.
And then even that is pseudo, because they want you to believe that it's 9 planets outside of this Earth atmosphere.
What the fuck does that got to do with Clyde Winters and the Olmecs and the fucking Leo Wiener and all of, what the fuck does the planets got to do with it? That you trying to say that the planets are pseudo, nigga? Y'all heard him. Y'all heard him. Y'all heard him. Clip it. Where you at? Clark. Bar reloaded. Clip it. Clip it.
New ones, the planetarians that we see that these Europeans have. Only thing they have done was mimic our science to what we already did. And then even that is pseudo, because they want you to believe that it's 9 planets outside of this Earth atmosphere.
So he is telling us that there's not 9 planets outside this atmosphere. That is pseudo. So the evidence that we have of other planets existing is pseudo. They have a telescope in space right now. They have a satellite that is roaming around with a telescope on it that is capturing and cameras on it that is capturing images far away. They are tracking it. What are we talking about right now? I don't know how that came to be, Lucky. How the hell did this even get brought up in this conversation, bro?
New ones, the planetarians that we see that these Europeans have. Only thing they have done was mimic our science to what we already did. And then even that is pseudo, because they want you to believe that it's 9 planets outside of this Earth atmosphere that you can actually see in a fucking telescope, which is some pseudo shit.
So you telling me that you can't see it through a telescope is pseudo? I suggest you go spend some actual real fucking money on a telescope, and you can go right outside if you got the right fucking telescope and see the goddamn planets that we have pictures of. That we have the evidence of, continuum, for years upon years. But what the fuck does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Clyde Winters is talking about the Mundi script, Mundi language being translated over here, and the fucking Africans having an influence on the motherfuckers over here, which is pseudo. So you want to reverse the pseudo and double down the pseudo because you are of the belief that you motherfuckers were born here up out the dirt. You leave up out the dirt and go populate the rest of the world. And with you, you bring your science and technology that the motherfuckers mimic. That's why you're going against Clyde Winters right now, because he challenges your position of you claiming that y'all brought y'all science and spread it around the world. At the same time, he's saying no. The Mandinkas have a heavily influence on the Native American culture here. So y'all are clashing. Your pseudoisms are clashing. This is a battle of pseudo. Which pseudo is more accurate here? Neither one of them are right. So which argument is better? I'm not taking a side. I don't trust neither one of them. I don't trust the Fed's head motherfucker. I don't trust Clyde Winters and his homeschool for 8th graders that he called a college institution. I definitely don't trust a motherfucker to say we come from dirt. And I done seen babies be born up out of the womb of a woman where I entered and left it up in there several times. You're not finna tell me that Homo sapiens sapiens, or in your words, in Aboville, hetero sapiens sapiens, come from the fucking dirt. Ain't happening.
So, you know, when it comes to trying to give us the comparison and saying, oh, well, we came from Africa and this science, this is what they have always done. But they have never said, well, wait a minute. Even when they see information that might be suggested that the shit they find in America is older than what they find in Africa.
It ain't shit over here on this side of the planet older than what's in Africa. Period, point blank. Not a human, not an archaeological site, not a fucking fossil, not a language, not a calendar. Nothing is older than fucking found in Africa. Why is this? You know what? I know what's wrong. This is why y'all hide. This is why y'all don't come out. This is why y'all stay in y'all safe space. This is why y'all stay in y'all safe space. But Autistic One,
do me a favor, shut the fuck up.
The light bulb just doesn't go off. So let's continue. Let's get into a little bit more of this, and I'm gonna be chiming in periodically. So hit that like button, man. Set a build out. Let's get with it, man.
The Mandy people played an important role in the history of the Americas. I found in a sense that the Aztecs, they said they were Mandingos. Yes, Mandingos. The Mandy people, they built the cliff dwellings out in Four Corners, the Four Corners region. That's Arizona, Colorado, out there in that area. They built cliff dwellings. I also, in a sense, found that the Mandingo, the Mandy, they left inscriptions down in Brazil. And so I wrote the book in a sense to kind of.
No, the Anasazi is descendants or ascendants of the Iroquois. They will also be the Iroquois that a lot of people do not connect and not mention. So when you get into the Anasazi built with adobe. They was not taught this adobe from Moors or from the Mandinga. Now think of it like this, right? He's telling us that the Mandinga influence went as far as in Arizona. Do you know how far Arizona is off the coast of the Northeast Corridor? When we talk about starting from Jersey and New York and Delaware and Pennsylvania and all them areas where they claim they came first, right? You know how far that is from Arizona, bro? For somebody to be able to travel there and just set up buildings, and just because you may have a couple of cliff dwellings in the area where the Mandinga resides at, right? Doesn't mean that it came from there.
You see that?
And this is
the pseudo. This is pseudo wars. Listen to what he says. Hear him closely.
New York and Delaware and Pennsylvania and all them areas where they claim they came first, right? You know how far that is from.
Who claimed they came first, bro? Who are you talking about? Here we go with your silly ass projections. What's really going on, my nigga? What's really going on?
Or ascendants of the Iroquois. They will also be the Iroquois that a lot of people do not connect and not mention. So when you get into the Anasazi built with adobe. They was not taught this adobe from Moors or from the Mandinga. Now think of it like this.
Hold up. Are you trying to say the Mandinka are Moors? What are you insinuating right here? Because you said the Moors or the Mandinka. I'm confused. What are you really trying to say? Us intelligent people can't really understand you. We're having a hard time following your bullshit. Our pseudo senses are tingling way too much.
He's telling us that the Mandinga influence went as far as in Arizona. Do you know how far Arizona is off the coast of the Northeast corridor? When we talk about starting from Jersey and New York and Delaware and Pennsylvania and all them areas where they claim they came first, right? You know how far that is from Arizona, bro? For somebody to be able to travel there and just set up buildings, and just because you may have a couple of cliff dwellings in the area where the Mandinga resides at, right, doesn't mean that it came from there. And this is what a lot of these so-called scholars is they're ignoring, and they're alluding around the fact that they don't want to give a credibility to the Americans. So
what
it is, what
are you talking?
What it is, man. Let's get into it.
To kind of give people an understanding of the important roles. I also found out that the Olmec calendar, because the Olmecs, they were Malinki Bambara speakers, and they came from West Africa around 1004.
Clyde, whoa, Clyde, we already got to listen to A1. You too? You ain't gonna give us no you're not gonna give us no break, bro. You're not gonna give us no break. We already listening to one pseudo, and we know you pseudo, but you ain't gonna give us no break, bro. You just gonna go straight in with this
Olmec calendar, because the Olmecs, they were Malinki Bambara speakers, and they came from West Africa.
This dude, bro. This dude just kicked the real motherfucking people up out they shit, man. He just sit here and said, "Fuck y'all." The Olmecs were Mandinka speaking people from West Africa. This dude said that the fucking Mandinka are listen, bro. All right, so okay, god damn, man. All right, let's go back down memory lane, y'all. Ride with your pimp. Ride with me. Let me show you how we kicking it. Ride with me. Let's go to the Mossy. Ride with me, pimpin'. Let me show you how we dip it neck. Let's go back a couple of years, y'all. We probably ain't got to go back too far. Might not be a couple of years. I'm trying to figure out why my dog is barking at 11:20 at night. Okay, so here we go. Here's one video 7 months ago. All right. The Olmec argument of the ancestors, that Dr. Van Sertima and Runoko Rashidi. I left Clyde Winters out. But guess who video was in here? This motherfucker's in the chat right now. Y'all see his name? He in the chat right now. Look who in the chat. Just look, I highlighted it. This is video. But what is this? What is this? What is this? And what is this? Let's go find out. Oh, it's a PDF. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Sean, did you do it? Why did you do it, Sean? The Colossal Heads, the Olmecs, and Cypress. Oh, no, Sean. Yep, you brought out the goddamn. Yep, you did it. Motherfucker. You brought out the Olmec heads. Look at this. San Lorenzo, Tenochtitlan, the first Olmec capital, is the place of the greatest number of colossal heads. Yada, 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 yada. The flattened features and compressed form of 9 San Lorenzo 10 heads, as well as the flat sides, must be result of this recycling process and not indicators of African origin. Rewind. Here we go. Just so y'all know. Although scholars have assumed that the monumental sculptures were carved out of natural rocks, some of them had been recycled. That is, previously existing pieces were recarved to change their form and meaning. This is the case of most of the colossal heads from San Lorenzo. It is worthy of note that some of these pieces were carved out of large thrones, as is noticeable in the ones that still preserve remnants of the frontal niche of a throne. The flattened features and compressed form of 9 San Lorenzo 10 heads, as well as the flat sides, must be the result of this recycling process and not indicators of African origins, as has sometimes been said. The inherent symbolism of recycling the throne of a dead ruler to create this colossal portrait sheds new light on the Olmec cult of their ancestors and also provides evidence that the recycled heads were not transported from the distant fields of volcanic rock in the Tuxtla Mountains, since the rock was reutilized in the very capital of San Lorenzo a short time before its decline around 900 BCE. What you really trying to say, Sean? Huh? These people, in their own words, yeah. What about this 230-page book that Clyde Winters ignores? Contributions of the University of California Archaeological Research Facility, published number 19 in January of 1974, a stylistic and chronological study of the Olmec monumental sculpture. What in the world is going on? It is here that a hell of an argument is made. It isn't disrespectful. It isn't distasteful. It is from the Department of Anthropology in Berkeley, California. What does it talk about? You might add, it's 230 pages, and Sean made it available for you to download in the description of the video that I will re-show you. The history of the Olmec studies approaches the study of Olmec monumental sculpture, the range of Olmec artistic efforts, method, and terminology, the sites, the colossal heads, discussions, the seated figures. Yeah, all of that is in here, right? Right? Okay. So which one of these do you think is most important? There's a reason that I put this in here, because we dealt with it. We dealt with it. So let's go to 147 real quick. Let's just have some fun, right? Let's go 147 real quick. Hold on one second. I'm probably on froze right now. Not really, but It's coming. We're going to 127. I didn't skip that bitch. Was it 127? It's one of them. No, we gotta go before that. I want to show y'all something. Hold up. Hold on, because they're coming down here. And I don't know why he keep barking, man. Leave his ass outside. Just leave him outside, bro. Don't even wait on him or none of that shit. My bad, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Leave him out. I don't care how cold it is. Let his ass freeze. Nobody finna keep doing that. It's every hour. He doing that shit on purpose. I don't care if his stomach hurt. 147, let's go. I said 27. Caleb. Boy, these dudes, boy, they gonna make me slap them. That wasn't even Caleb that time. That was Elijah. I'm finna cut the internet off on their ass. I just want to see how they gonna react. You get loud again, I'm gonna cut the internet off. I'm gonna cut my Wi-Fi on my cell phone on though. So my laptop don't freeze. So, all right. Needless to say, no stylistic discussion may be offered for such an amorphous category of sculpture as miscellaneous monuments. The category is of archaeological importance, however, for the insight which is provided into Olmec behavior. First, I shall make the assumption that most of the miscellaneous pieces from both the San Lorenzo and La Venta were originally placed there during one of another period of Olmec occupation. This assumption is implied in the provenance of some of the San Lorenzo pieces, and also it indicated by the shape, material, size, and provenance of some of the La Venta stones. Monument 24, for example, was almost certainly placed in La Venta phase 4. If I am correct in this assumption, then it may be stated that in the terms of overall tonnage, the miscellaneous monuments represent a large contribution of the Olmec corpses, as well as other category excerpts, perhaps colossal heads and altars. More specifically, this means that in terms of service rendered to the ruling body of the ceremonial center, the miscellaneous monuments represents expenditure of manpower and time of great enough indicate that they played a significant role in the ritual life of the center. Yada, 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 yada. Yeah, cool. Conclusion. Ignacio Bernal has written with respect to the Olmecs that it is most important in the future to determine precisely the phase during which those great sculptures were carved. This is certainly true, and for numerous archaeological reasons is a problem more easily stated than solved. Some progress toward a solution may be made. However, as Kubler has noted, when it is unlikely that the field excavations can be solved because of the site is too disturbed, these undifferentiated groups of objects can still be subject to a stylistic analysis of an art historical type. Assuming that early and late positions in the series of correspond to distinct and definable formal qualities, we can provisionally put the objects in series as the colossal Olmec stone heads, West Mexican clay sculpture, or Toltec Maya building sequences. These approximations, however coarse and exact, still are better than no sequence, for it is upon sequence that our awareness of an artistic problem must ultimately resist. It is in the spirit that a number of chronological estimates have made foregoing chapters. Yeah, y'all don't care nothing about none of this. I already know. But these heads ain't got nothing to do with Clyde Winters or anyone else. Read this, and you shall see exactly what I mean. This is respectfully written, and it speaks to and refers to the cultural context of the Olmec heads. It does. Or you can watch that show, and you can see what other jewels I might throw up. But before the 74 article, because this was a big deal, there was the 67 article. And it talks about the colossal heads of the Olmec culture. So again, this is to reiterate, right, the existence of these heads. People are reading these things, but we have way more shit to actually get into about the heads that we did before. Now, give me 1 second. I shall be right back. Let me put Tyson up. I'm gonna blank out and come back. Yo. Yo. All right, so let's deal with source here. And this is the JSTOR article that you saw on the screen in the video of the brother I showed y'all earlier, Shabazz. Right? And he talked about how they made some earlier points in this response to others, Van Sertima more importantly. Yeah, we got it. Barry Fells is in this too. You heard True Storian bring up some information. You heard him bring up some information earlier on the other show. The significance of that is all in this, as they did try to attempt to attack. Well, they did attack a lot of African scholars, but the only problem that I had with this is the fact that I wanted to deal with some of the disrespect. And then I started thinking, how mad are we if they came to Africa and tried to take Africa from us and African greatness, which they are trying to do, the Arabs more in particular, when it comes to certain parts of Egyptian culture and history and so on and so forth. They just trying to like rip that away. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna let it play out, because I checked some people online that was real disrespectful to Van Sertima. I mean, yeah, is he wrong? Absolutely. Does Abukar II even exist? No. How do we know all of this? Because we have more information. Information that probably would have served Van Sertima correct today. Would he have done this differently with the information that we have, that he would have today? Absolutely. I don't think that he would still hold a position that he held in that era. But then again, you never know. But again, their points are made early on in this article, and it's provided. But I agree with Shabazz when they start talking about noses in West Africa and all that bullshit. That was pseudo. Now, let me explain to you why that is pseudo. Because everybody knows motherfuckers closer to the equator have wider noses. the shape of their noses is totally different. Plus, the people that they're using in these articles to argue the nose is distinctively a little bit away from fucking the equator. The Nubians, and they ain't down near where them places where the science will actually implement that your nose is wider because you need to intake more oxygen. You're closer to the equator where it's actually hot. We know why people develop wide noses according to science. Why would this be asserted in this article? It behooves me. But again, I agree with Shabazz. This is where they start to fall short in their arguments. But does that take away the totality of the argument? The answer to the question is no. It does not. Doesn't. But I did make that available. I'm not gonna read this shit, bro. That's a whole nother thing. I really prefer to be pseudorized. But let me show y'all this shit again so you know. The name of the video where you can get the sources is from 7 months ago, and it's called The Olmec Argument of the Ancestors, Dr. Van Sertima and Runoko Rashidi, The Black Myth. I don't need no one else checking my ancestors. I will do that myself. I will correct them myself. We have a team, a group of people that will do that. When it becomes too disrespectful, it becomes too disrespectful, then we begin to fire shots in a direction that we don't need to be firing shots because we're going to correct our own. All right, and we're going to continue to do it. We have been doing it. We're going to continue to do it. We've been doing this shit since 7 years ago. So we know the validity of it. But let's listen to this motherfucker live. Then we're going to get the fuck out of here. And no, I don't have no respect for Clyde Winters. None at all, because he is deliberately stealing people's existence, culture, and history. And if you want to throw tomatoes at Clyde Winters, feel free. I don't care. But the dead, nah. I'm not going to let y'all throw stones at the dead.
Into it.
To kind of give people an understanding of the important role. I also found out that the Olmec calendar, because see, the Olmecs, they were Malinki Bambara speakers, and they came from West Africa. Around 1,200 to 1,400 years ago, they came to Mexico. And they settled in the Gulf region. Okay, and so once I found out that they were the Mandi, then I started really getting interested in the Olmec people. And so then I found, in a sense, that the calendar that the Maya.
Just catch him lying right here. Just listen to him real closely where he talked about the people. You got to hear him closely because he's going to give you two distinct locations. Now, it could be his Alzheimer's setting in, and he could be forgetting more than he could remember, but pay attention.
And they settled in the Gulf region. Okay, and so once I found out that they.
It is what it is, man. Let's get into
it. To kind of give people an understanding of the important role. I also found out that the Olmec calendar, because see, the Olmecs, they were Malinki Bambara speakers, and they came from West Africa. Around 1,200 to 1,400 years ago, they came to Mexico. And they settled in the Gulf region.
Did they come to West Africa or leave West Africa? I'm confused.
It is what it is, man. Let's get into it.
To kind of give people an understanding of the important role. I also found out that the Olmec calendar, because see, the Olmecs, they were Malinki Bambara speakers, and they came from West Africa. Around 1,200 to 1,400 years ago, they came to Mexico. and they settled in the Gulf region. Okay, and so once I found out that they were the Mandi, then I started really getting interested in the Olmec people. And so then I found, in a sense, that the calendar that the Maya used was invented by the Olmecs. I said, aha, if it was invented by the Olmecs, I could probably find out more about the calendar by researching the Mandi calendar. And I found.
Look, man, I have to say this right here, brother. The Olmec did not come from no fucking Africa, my dude. It did not come from no fucking Africa, brother. You know how long it would take you to learn the science of pyramid building, brother?
Woo! Woo!
You gonna get this work. You gonna get this work, nigga. I killed you. Hold up. You gonna get this work.
Talk your shit, autistic one. How long would it take Africans to learn the science of pyramid building? Please enlighten us.
Dude, it did not come from no fucking Africa, brother. You know how long it would take you to learn the science of pyramid building, brother?
Mm-hmm. 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 Hmm? How long would it take Africans to learn the art of building pyramids? Hmm? How long would it take them? How long? Don't tell me that you was building pyramids 10,000 years ago, 11,000 years ago. Don't give me no damn grass mound. That isn't a pyramid. Do not do that. Is it the Levinta, the first actual rise of the pyramid builders? Because they told you in 2009 in an article in the history.com that told you in 2009, more specifically, when it talks about the rise of the pyramid builders, they do it specifically, though. We ain't got to hate on no other culture, bro. No one has to do that, bro. We don't have to hate on anyone else's culture, bro. It's not a who did what first, bro. But since it's you, it is a who did what first. So Mesoamericans built pyramids around 1000 BC, up into the Spanish conquest in the early 16th century. Egyptian pyramids are much older than American ones. The earliest Egyptian pyramid, the Pyramid of Djoser, was built in the 27th century BC. The earliest known pyramid in the Americas stands at the Levinta in Tabasco, Mexico. Built by the Olmecs, the first major Mesoamerican civilization, a group famous for other firsts like chocolate and the use of for sports. The pyramid dates between 1000 BC to 400 BC, and American pyramids were generally built of earth and then faced with stone, typically in step or layered shape, topped by a platform or temple structure. They are often referred to as step pyramids. What we doing? What are we doing? We ain't gotta go there, bro. We don't. These pyramid structures that were built aren't as old as people make them out to be. But there are structures that were man-made when it comes to dealing with the actual earth. They made mounds. These mounds had significance among them in their culture. That is also why during the Mississippian period, you have the mound builders of the Mississippian period. But let's go though. Autistic one, talk your shit to another pseudo.
So we don't find no pyramids in the area where you claiming that the Olmecs came from. We find no Olmec heads. That is very crucial. The only thing that they tie in is language. It's language. And like I said, we can look in North Africa, Spain, Portugal, all the way through London, England, all the way through Germany, and all the way back north as far as Greece, Italy, Rome, as well as all the way down the shores of North Africa, Tripoli, Egypt, all of them places. We can find remnants in that area that we can only find in America. The only place you can find them so-called architectures, and because architecture is an advanced science. That's not just something that, okay, a language and everything that can be miscrewed. But if the Olmecs is not presenting this science, right, to Africa, then how can you say that the Olmecs came from Africa? Why is you saying that the Mayan calendar came from Africa? Why is you saying that? And it's like I understand there's certain claims that says that the Africans came to America, but there's also other claims showing you that, well, then again, because he's going to double down on that too. He's going to say it was blacks in America, but the Africans came here and taught them how to do what they're doing, which makes no fucking total sense to me. But let's get back into it though, man. Say the video out.
Of course it don't make no sense to you, because neither one of y'all are making sense to none of us, because we looking at both of y'all like dumbasses. And if I had that little clip, I'd be playing it right now. I'd be playing it. These motherfuckers is stupid right now. If I had the clip uploaded, because you motherfuckers are stupid. Both of y'all.
Man, hit the like button, man. Let's get into it.
On that the Mayan calendar, the calendar they use today down in Mexico, is a calendar that they got from the Malinke Bambara people.
No, the fuck they didn't. That calendar don't come from no fucking West Africa. Them Olmec heads wasn't built by no West Africans. Them motherfuckers from the Malinke and the Bambara never came to fucking the Americas. There was no shipbuilding going on in West Africa. They couldn't set sail. They couldn't even cross the goddamn Atlantic. They didn't have the technology until the late 15th century when Europeans discovered a unique piece of technology that would allow them to sail across winds, defeating gravity and allowing them to come back upstream, offshore with no issues. They used to get stuck, spin around, and couldn't make it back upstream unless they were in shallow waters where they could use their vessels to get back to where they came from. They were afraid of the Atlantic. It was too violent. Africans never had a need to do oceanic travels. They only built canoes and shit like that to do their own naval fighting and things of that nature on 26 passenger canoes. They built really long canoes the motherfuckers could stand up in, throw spears at one another, and attack from the lake, river, creek, pond, wherever the fuck they was at. They wasn't in no goddamn Atlantic. They used wooden boats to go from the shores of Ghana to the slave dungeon because the waters is shallow right then and there. But beyond the dungeons on the other side, they would never go on the other side because them damn boats would get swept and ate away because there's a cross current in the Atlantic Ocean around that area, and from Senegal all the way down the West African coast that would fuck them up. Oh my goodness, bro. Why would Tony, bro? Tony, why is you trying to connect with me, bro? I'm about to throw you under the bus. All right, so that's the science. That's the evidence. But y'all see, every time I talk, if I need to show and demonstrate some shit, I'll pause the video, pull up the source, and share it with you. This nigga act like he can't do that. You know why he can't do that? Because he ain't got the source to go pull up and show you where this shit that he making up out his head is coming from. Neither one of these dudes. At least, listen, respectfully, Clyde Winters will at least, even if it's just himself, and he's citing himself, at least he'll write something, cite himself, and then try to defend his bullshit according to his citations of himself. Autistic One can't cite no author. Not even himself. So Clyde is pseudo, yes. He is pseudo. Very much so. He's so goddamn pseudo. His tag name for his Cash App is $OMAC98, motherfuckers. That's how pseudo Clyde Winters is. That the nigga Cash App name is OMAX. Look at the screen. It's on the screen. The Negro Cash App is OMAC98, bro. I need to send this nigga $1 and tell him to delete all the bullshit he ever wrote.
But I found I really need to do another book because since I published this book,
don't do no more books. Stop writing books. Just give it up, old man. The world has passed you by. Information has advanced. The experts in the field look at you as a quack. We read the email exchanges. We have them everywhere. Hold on. I don't want nobody to think that I'm making shit up, right? I want everybody to know that when Sean says something, that he has the evidence for that which he says. If there's anything that I've ever demonstrated to anybody that is listening to the sound of my voice right now, it is the fact that I'm going to provide you with the information, and I don't give a damn who likes it or not. I got it. So I'm gonna bring you to Kofi Pie Side TV, and we're going to take a walk down memory lane. We're gonna see a few things, and we should do a show on this motherfucker while we bullshitting. I've been on the Marcy a lot. But if you're not subscribed to the Monster Warrior Clan YouTube, the Monster Warrior Clan, please subscribe. If you're not subscribed to Kofi Pie-Side Research Team YouTube channel, please subscribe. We need your support. We need your support. Nigga, get off my window. I'm leaving your ass outside. You should have stayed your ass asleep. All right, so we attacking the hood scientists. Yep. We rewind. Look, Sutek rewind and played the Columbus shit. Right? He rewinded. He played two videos. He broke them up, 2 videos. Right? We got the science, sovereignty, and sacred texts. We got more information in Aboville where we challenge these motherfuckers. I'm trying not to miss anything significant in between what we got going on. We had old boy Henry on here. He didn't know what the hell happened to him. Let me see what's in the description of this video. I just want to see the description. So hold on. Okay, it ain't nothing. I think because we let this dude just talk. He talked us to death. All right. So from there, we end up in the Negro Truth section. Where we beat up some people. I even beat up Unc. They was mad at me for that. For a while. It's banging on Unc. We got the Dogon shit. Got old pseudo ass Zion Lex. Dang, these videos that old, bro, that we did on dude. Dang. Dang. We really had went a ways back on old boy. This is really interesting. Out of all the stuff we done did on this channel, the shows and stuff like that, look. Old Max, we ain't them. Here go one. What we got? What we got right here, Sutek? Is this me or you? I think it's Sutek. I ain't even gonna cap. Yeah, this Sutek. Because I said he on CP time. This Sutek shit. So this Sutek shit on the situation. Right? And trust me. You gotta trust me, man. Listen, we doing our thing. We doing our thing. We doing our thing. Come on, man. We doing our thing. We letting it know. We've been doing some correcting. That was 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago. But then there's more. The reason that I know it's more because we did like I don't know, was it a week or a couple days of shows or something like that on dude? You was barking and you wanted to go outside, fool. Stay your ass outside. Sleep on the concrete. Good luck to you. You got on a sweater. That's how you got to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? We gave him what he want. But no, there's more videos, man. It's just, they down here somewhere. I don't know where Sutek found them other ones. But it just shows you that we've been banging for quite some time. Hell, I done forgot the names of the videos. I might have scrolled past. Cause it's 5 years ago now. I know they ain't this far back, but I know they on the channel. And I know it's some more on the Mossy though. But we talked about this fool over here, man, and I don't know why I probably scrolled past it and not looking. But we just deal with the information. There you go. They came before Columbus. Oh yeah, me and Chris arguing. Sean and Chris, they came before Columbus. Oh, this is a good one. Because Chris was trying to defend that bullshit. I wasn't having none of that. I wasn't having none of that. Look, yeah, we was getting to it. Chris tried to bring out the letters. You know what I'm saying? He tried to bring out the letters between Sheikh Ntijok and Van Sertima, but the correspondence was too late. My smart ass pulled the video out on this nigga during the Mansa Musa breakdown. Yeah, we was getting to it. We were going back and forth on this joint. You know this is me because I'm talking subfields. Yeah, I'm talking anthropology over here, so you know it's me. You know what I'm saying? He said he had all this information and he ain't had none of that. Van Sertima ain't had none of that information. I was beating it up. He said he had linguistic. Everybody know he said that bullshit. Man, I went in on Chris. Why y'all let me do that to Chris? That's why he stopped rocking with us. Because y'all, Sutek, y'all hear Tyson out there barking. My apologies. But he gonna bark. Because I ain't letting him back in, not right now. When I go upstairs, he can go. You asked to be outside, nigga, don't be barking now. All right, hold on. I'm gonna pull this other video up. We argued for a couple days though, for real. I thought we had more than just that though, Sutek. Kofi in the chat lying his ass off. I ain't right. No, bro. Now you can't put that on me. Y'all, Sutek. Sutek did that. Look at that. Is we or is we not Moors? Y'all know that's a Sutek show. Berbers, that's a Sutek show. Moorish art, look, Moorish art or Orientalism. That's Sutek. Straight up. Moorish, anything with more in there, it's Sutek. More Hebrew and sometime and astrology. More Hebrew astrology and some Van Sertima stuff. Sutek. Not saying that he don't deal with, West Africa. But yeah, I mean, it be Sutek. So we back to having our conversation again. This is, look, 2021, 2 years ago, right? We having this conversation. I think I hit the live button. But when I hit the live button, look what I put in there. Look what we're reading from. We reading from the article, the response article. Just show y'all, we was reading from the response article in its totality. Then we moved on. Like, bro, we can't keep getting stuck with this old Mac bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We ain't finna keep doing all that. And you see all of us, man, we all was involved in this. Like, we knew we wasn't trying to be disrespectful to Van Sertima, but we had to deal with what we had to deal with, man. We dealt with the evidence. We went to go read the side of the argument from the Mesoamerican side. We read the Mesoamerican side. We read Clyde Winters. We read Van Sertima. We read Wiener's side. We read both sides of it. That's how we can come to a conclusion. Clyde Winters ain't never read none of the shit, the other side. He just argued with people in email. He didn't even have enough respect to read other people's works unless it was in an email exchange.
I found 3 tribes. I found three tribes in Virginia.
Time out. He found. No one else found them. He found. Who he? He is the source of the shit show.
The calendar they use today down in Mexico is a calendar that they got from the Malinke Bambara people. But I found I really need to do another book because see, since I published this book, I found 3 tribes. I found three tribes in Virginia: the Tutelo, the Manican, the Mandine. I found 3 more Mandi tribes in Virginia, and I also discovered that the Manican they had an what's called a lingua franca called Okanishi. You may find a lot of.
See what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying, bro. 3 tribes in Virginia that were West African. No one else found this but him.
It's called a lingua franca called Okanishi. You may find a lot of Aboriginal people, the Black Aboriginals. Nobody want to be black, but I mean, they are black. But the Black Aboriginals, they like to use the word Niji, and they don't even know that.
Look at this shot of Dan Calloway.
That's the Mandi word for hello.
That ain't the goddamn Mandi word for hello. The Niji word is fucking friend in the Ojibwe, or however you say that shit. It's in my goddamn response to Dan Calloway. Yeah, he's lying. By the way, y'all, that is really Kofi. That's Kofi in the chat. That ain't nobody on the profile but Kofi. And Kofi telling y'all that he lying. Big up Virginia.
Niji. Yeah. And they don't even know that that's the Mandi word for hello.
Wow.
Yeah, because see, that's what it's all about is research. And I dedicated myself to doing this research because see, back when I was in high school, my wife, my wonderful one, she her grandfather was Cherokee and her grandmother was Blackfoot, And so then so my mother told us that we were Choctaw, but I didn't give a damn about being no Choctaw because I mean, damn, I grew up. I'm 72 years old. I grew up in the '60s. The Indians always lost. Yeah. I didn't want to. I want to be an Indian. I didn't want to be known as no Indian. I wanted to be one of the people from Malay or Songhay or Ghana. I mean, I wanted to come from one of the African civilizations. So back then, I didn't really get involved. I did a survey when I was a senior in high school, and I found that about 60 to 70% of the brothers there said they had Indian ancestry. You probably got Indian ancestry. You probably asked your grandma. If your grandma's around.
You probably got Indian ancestry. You got to ask your grandmama. Fuck DNA. Forget DNA. Go ask your grandmama. You probably got some Indian in your family. Go ask your grandmama. Yo. Zeke, that's what's up. You got more than 5%. You and a couple other people are pretty rare. But yeah, if it's more than 5%, man, you know what I'm saying? You got some of that shit going on and you go on. But let me show y'all something real quick. He said that the Malinke word for hello was Niji. Let me zoom in. Where the hell is Niji at? Aniki. Aniwale. Hello is Aniki. At any time is Aniwale. Aniwale. Aniki. Greeting. Aniki. How is that Niji? There's no Niji in that shit. Who the hell told you that, Clyde Winters? Aniki. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's the home of West Africa over here, baby. It's the home of West Africa over here. Aniki. What you think we gonna do, Clyde? You think we just gonna sit here and listen to you and not try to go find a motherfucking word? We can't even find it in the Bambara, buddy. Anisi. Or Nisi. Oh, you think I'm capping? The Bambara word, ladies and gentlemen. Anisi. Anisi. Onisi. Onusi. Akani wa. Okakani. Come on, man. And my pronunciations is tentative. But I'm close to it. Anisi. Fuck out of here, yo. Who you think he talking to, man? We all up and down West Africa over here, man. Ain't no Niji, motherfucker, running around here talking about Niji. No, it ain't no Niji. Get them goddamn Native Americans back they shit. Fuck out of here with that bullshit.
I don't want to go there. But I mean, because of that, then I began, in a sense, to realize over the years, you know, I used to write at at Egypt Search. And so, you know, the brothers, they always want to talk about that.
Yeah, you used to write over there at Egypt Search, nigga. Pseudoville. That's where they used to come over there and beat you up, punch drunk you. Wu Jawu, Sun Jetty, and Asar.
African civilization. So back then, I didn't really get involved. I did a survey when I was a senior in high school, and I found that about 60 to 70% of the brothers there said they had Indian ancestry. You probably got Indian ancestry. You probably asked them.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm about to take y'all on a trip back down memory lane. Listen to what he says about this school, and then I'm gonna tell you.
African civilization. So back then, I didn't really get involved. I did a survey when I was a senior in high school, and I found that about 60 to 70% of the brothers there said.
He said he did a survey as a senior in high school. This is where he lying at. Melanated. This nigga outside crying. I ain't even finna open it. I ain't finna open it because you sitting there crying at the door. You want to be outside, nigga. Then your ass been outside an hour. You don't like it because it's cold, huh?
So they had Indian ancestry. You probably got Indian ancestry. You probably actually.
Listen, I listen. I want y'all to hear him crying so bad that I wanna like open the window or something so you can hear him whining like a little punk ass kid.
Grandma, you know, if
Yeah.
your grandma's around, I don't want to go there. But I mean, because of that, then I began, in a sense, to realize over the years, you know, I used to write at at Egypt Search. And so, you know, the brothers there always want to talk about the Moors.
Yeah.
So then I decided it was time for me to do some research into to my Aboriginal heritage. So that book is a result of doing some of the research of that. So Richie, are you from Virginia? I see that writing. Are you from Virginia? That's where many can live, in Virginia. And
Yeah, we'll see if he comments back to.
And he's trying to connect the Powhatans and some of them other tribes that we see with that she symbol on.
Listen, man, listen. Enough of this. Both of you mofos are pseudo. I ain't even paying him no attention no more, bro. Like, yo, this video is so whack. This is like Hebrew on Hebrew gang banging. Because they're both diffusionists. They both don't have any evidence, and they always argue from ignorance and research with bias. They only look for things to support their belief. They have a confirmation bias. They reject evidence, and they appeal to the authorities of their own ignorances. Listen, man. I can't take no more. I can't take no more. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to hear some more of this shit. If you feeling the information, if you thinking that you're learning something along in me critiquing these motherfuckers, let me know. Cause I give up. The pseudo sophisticates are fucking things up. He said he cold from licking himself. Let me let this nigga in here. Look at him. Sit down looking stupid. Look at you. You're looking stupid. You look stupid. You want to be outside? Now you want to go upstairs. Now you want to go upstairs. Barking and shit all motherfucking day. Nobody don't hear that bullshit. Let me ride a bit.
Grandmother was Blackfoot, you know. And so then so my mother told us that we were Choctaw, but I didn't give a damn about being no Choctaw, because I mean, damn, I grew up, I'm 72 years old. I grew up in the 60s. The Indians always lost. Yeah. I didn't want to, I wanted to be an Indian. I didn't want to be known as no Indian. I wanted to be one of the people from Malay or Songhay or Ghana. I mean, I wanted to come from one of the African civilizations. So back then, I didn't really get involved. I did a survey when I was a senior in high school, and I found that about 60 to 70% of the brothers there said they had Indian ancestry. You probably got Indian ancestry. You probably asked your grandma. You know, if your grandma's around, I don't want to go there. But I mean, because of that, then I began, in a sense, to realize over the years, you know, I used to write at at Egypt Search. And so, you know, the brothers there always want to talk about the Moors.
Yeah.
So then I decided it was time for me to do some research into to my Aboriginal heritage. So that book is a result of doing some of the research of that. So Richie, are you from Virginia? I see that writing. Are you from Virginia? That's where many can live, in Virginia. And
we'll see if he comments back to.
And he's trying to connect the Powhatans and some of them other tribes that we see with that she symbol on that they is implementing into their culture. So he's trying to, like, but if you really was going to really say that, then you will be saying more the Yamasee and the Timucuans and some of the other tribes that's sitting right there in that southwest area, as well as northwest or east-west area, or east-south area, right? Predominantly the Gullah Coast, right? We see a heavily influence of the Mayan or the so-called Olmec culture in them regions. We find Mayan artifacts in Georgia. We find Mayan artifacts in Arkansas. We find Mayan artifacts even among the so-called spiral.
This nigga said you find Mayan artifacts in Georgia. What? This pseudo war is killing me.
Of the Mayan or the so-called Olmec culture in them regions. We find Mayan artifacts in Georgia. We find Mayan artifacts in Arkansas. We find Mayan artifacts even among the so-called spiral mounds, west area, as well as northwest or east-west area, or east-south area, right? Predominantly the Gullah Coast, right? We see a heavily influence of the Mayan or the so-called Olmec culture in them regions.
He used a goddamn lie. The motherfuckers never left where they were. The Olmec never left where they were. So let's see. Let's go check out the Olmec migration, ladies and gentlemen. Nah, I don't want to use that source. No, don't want to use that source because they're gonna have an issue with that. So let's see if we can find where the Mayans. Let me see if there's since they like pictures so much, right? No. It's the Olmec. He said Olmec. We got to be Olmec. We got to keep it real. So let me show y'all something real quick. So we know this to be the Olmec civilization, right? And these are the areas where the Olmec were. The Olmec never went beyond these areas. Wiki will even attest to that. But we don't want to use Wiki, right? We don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to do ourselves a favor. In short, the Mayan came first, settled in modern-day Mexico. Next came the Olmecs, who settled in Mexico. They didn't build any major cities, but they were widespread and prosperous. They followed the Inca in modern-day Peru, and finally the Aztecs, also in modern-day Mexico. So, who in the chat thinks that the Olmec left right where I showed you they were and came to Arkansas and Virginia? I'm waiting on the chat. Who believes the Olmec was in Arkansas? These are artifacts that are found in Arkansas. None of these motherfuckers are relative to the fucking Olmec civilization, but these artifacts are found. Who believes that the Olmec were in Arkansas? You heard him say it because he also said Virginia. So, in quick search, as they do, Talco and Tlalpacora are major cities of the Talco culture and Valley of Mexico, where artifacts include hollow baby face motif figurines and Olmec designs and ceramics. Those are the places where Olmec shit's been found. We don't have to make anything up. I don't understand why I'm having to do this. The Olmec don't go nowhere, bro. The Olmec come and go right where they were. They don't migrate nowhere. Watch. Find me a migration map. Where did the Olmec migrate from? They all come through the Beringer. Where did they migrate to is the next one. How did Olmec culture spread throughout Mesoamerica? This is an opinion blog. You don't want to use it. Look at this. Y'all remember this? This was created because of motherfuckers like Clyde Winters. Pseudo-historical theories. Look at this. Leo Wiener name. Oh, wow. Ivan Van Sertima's name. Oh, wow. And the fucking Mandi people of West Africa. Oh, fucking wow. Notice, we've already we've read this before, by the way, because we pulled this up on the show. But they don't leave Mesoamerica, ladies and gentlemen. There's no evidence of Olmec culture anywhere outside of Olmec area. These are the facts. Anyone want to challenge or dispute the facts, go find me the source and just lay it on me. That's different. The Mayans is different. I'm being specific. I'm specifically referring to the Olmec. The Olmec. I don't want to get too far left or too far right, so that's why I'm saying specifically the Olmec. Even though from where they were positioned, it's not too far off for like traveling to get to those islands. There you go. Oh, Thomas, you must be behind, but you're gonna catch up. I think Thomas is behind us a little bit, or you just saying it to deal with it. Got you. Right, Kevin Troy. And we know that. We know what we put on the screen that was in Arkansas are very close to. Arkansas is Mississippian culture land. Watch this. Look. I'm just using the map just to kind of show y'all some shit. But this is, listen, Middle Mississippian, Caden Mississippian, Southern Appalachian Mississippian. All of this is a part of the Mississippian culture. Arkansas is in the look, Florida, this Louisiana. You see New Orleans down here. This Louisiana, right? You got Alabama, you got Florida, Alabama, right? You got Mississippi, Louisiana, right? Look, this middle Mississippian period is Arkansas is over there because Tennessee is over here. This Virginia. Come on, man. We know. And this is what's so dope about it. Look, this is what's so dope about it is that they trying to take this shit from these people and they don't represent none of these people do. This is a severed sacrificial head based on a Rapazi copper plate. Yeah, you know those copper colored people that the Abo claim to be? This what the fuck the copper colors look like, real talk. Come on, man. He severed a head and carried it around, bro. Decapitated a motherfucker talking that shit, bro. That's what I'm gonna do to the Abo scholarship. It's getting decapitated. I'm sorry, they ain't even fucking got scholarship. My apologies. I'm trying to give them some shit they ain't got. Cause they damn sure ain't got none of this shit. Come on, man. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Who framed Roger Rabbit? Who framed Roger Rabbit? Is this dude upstairs whining? Nah, he's snoring. Sleep already, that's crazy. The Guatemalan region of the Obsidian use in Mesoamerica part specifically. Right, no, I know. They didn't leave that area. They stayed right there. There was no going nowhere else. So for him to sit there and say that there's artifacts in Virginia, that there's artifacts in Arkansas, is disingenuous. He is no more of a liar than Clyde Winters. It's the tale of two liars. And somewhere in between that, we got to wiggle our way in between it to separate the pseudoisms and say they're both wrong. Tuesday crazy.
We find Mayan artifacts in Georgia. We find Mayan artifacts in Arkansas. We find Mayan artifacts even among.
Do we find the Mayan artifacts? Okay, so let's take away Olmec. Let's go Mayan artifacts in Georgia. He all over the place. So there's an article that was published in 2012 in ABC News. It says Mayan ruins in Georgia, archaeologist objects, debate breaks out. Right? So we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. I ain't got time, so I'm gonna do it like this. Some of Thornton's conclusions about the Mayan connection to the southern U.S., he said, are based on oral history. There are places, names in there like Georgia and North Carolina, he said, that are very similar to Mayan words. Words like Mako and Kolkan, he said, are Mayan origin and will be recognized by scholars of Mayan history. The ruins near Bradstown Bald, he said, also include mounds and irrigation terraces similar to those found at Mayan settlements in Central America. Williams, the doubting archaeologist, had many online defenders. While there are many, many compelling parallels between Central America and North America indigenous mythologies, wrote one, that does not mean they were direct evidence that the post-classic period collapsed Maya immigrated all the way to Georgia. Williams stood his ground against Thornton's suggestions that Brasstown Bald has any Mayan roots. The sites are certainly those of Native Americans of prehistoric Georgia, he wrote in an email. Wild theories are not new, but the web simply spreads them faster than ever. They do not agree with one another. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, according to where this bullshit was published, on Examiner.com, he wrote about 1,100-year-old archaeological site near Georgia. I ain't feeling the Examiner.com. I just clicked on a link and it didn't take me to shit. This is what I got when I clicked on the link. Some bullshit. So no, I'm not set on that. Archaeologists are not settled on that shit. That was 2012. Let's see if we can get some more updated scholarship. We damn sure ain't going to lostworlds.org. We know what the fuck that is. Lostwhatever.org. Yeah, that motherfucker pseudo. That motherfucker super pseudo. Lostsomething.org. That motherfucker straight pseudo, bro. See, this talks about a controversy argument between Richard Thornton. Look, this is talking about that, right? So it goes on to say what it says. In 2010, archaeologist Lupus wrote a peer-reviewed article, The Excavation of Track Wreck Archaeological Site on the opposite of the mountain of the Kaima site, and held a halt of the graves were discovered and see the probable was pre-contact. Thornton used excavations performed by Lubers as evidence for his theory. Upon learning, Luber responded, I think that Thornton selectively presents the evidence, but he is a better marketer than I and other archaeologists are. When you make a claim like that, you have to back it up with evidence. There's a lot of opinion out there. So this person, Lobser, who says that Thornton, who used Lobser's work, is just making an opinion about this shit. That was easy. What else he said? He said Virginia too. Well, let's go back. What the fuck is this motherfucker said so goddamn much in 2 minutes? It wasn't even 2 minutes. It was like 45 seconds. That's why you got to slow an elbow down. You can't let them just run off at the mouth.
Right there in that southwest area, as well as northwest or east-west area, or east-south area, right? Predominantly the Gullah coast, right? We see a heavily influence of the Mayan or the so-called Olmec culture in them regions. We find Mayan.
Which one are they? Mayan or Olmec? Quit confusing us with your bullshit. Just give it to us one way instead of the other, so we ain't confused. So are you calling the Mayan Olmecs? Or the Olmecs Mayans? Even still, when you start making your assertions, you're inaccurate because you don't have the evidence for such. You don't.
Mayan artifacts in Georgia. We find Mayan artifacts in Arkansas. We find Mayan artifacts even among the so-called spiral mounds. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, we already see the connection. We know that these are not no African influenced people, but if you're coming from eugenics created the out of Africa theory. This is why these people think that Africa, all black people outside of Africa came from Africa.
What the fuck? Eugenics ain't got no influence. Nigga, listen, bro. Just hold up real quick. Why the fuck do you keep doing this dumb shit, bro? You're using eugenics, you dumb nitwit. Clyde Winters is not even using eugenics. Clyde Winters is using revisionist history, which is what you're using. Neither one of you have talked about anything that has to do with some type of pseudoscience, which is what eugenics is. And yet you propose that people are doing this. That's wrong. I'm not going to let you do him like that. And I'm not going to let him do you like that. Both of you motherfuckers is stupid. Both of you. But to insinuate such a thing in your claims that you continue to make, and you got your screen shared, and you're avoiding any attempt to demonstrate your position and pull up an article and read from the article, is absurd. I've been doing this shit the entire day. You can't tell me that you couldn't do the same similar shit, motherfucker, because you do pull up sources. I'm just finna show you that you do. 5025. What the fuck is this? You over there trying to make some shit match, nigga. So you start pulling up some shit. Yeah, you do. Then you get your dumbass friends on the panel with you. Scary ass Queef Holiday running from everybody because he don't want to face his shit. Then y'all still talking about Lucia and all this whole other made up shit that we done already dealt with. Look at you. I'm showing you the video. Same dumb shit. Richard Nevy. Continue to use Richard Nevy and say the same dumb shit when you use it. Come on, you bad built body motherfucker.
Answer that question, but yeah, that's very interesting that you say that. And I mean, that's what we hear just across the board, you know, with our people, so-called Black African American here, like my granddad.
We don't hear that shit. I don't hear that shit. I don't hear nothing this motherfucker is lying about. I don't hear that shit.
And we can always, according to what we see, we can always say that the Olmec went over there. But that's so far-fetched. The out of America theory is far-fetched because guess what? These people handlers haven't agreed with that. So even though you find all this evidence that's suggesting that, because you haven't got that from a so-called white scholar, then you're gonna kind of
ain't no goddamn evidence out there that says that motherfuckers from over in the Americas went to Africa or anywhere else. You lying son of a bitch. Not without a white man. So why is you insinuating this dumbass shit?
Handlers haven't agreed with that. So even though you find all this evidence that's suggesting that, because you haven't got that from a so-called white scholar, then
where's the evidence? Touching this one. Where is all this evidence that you're talking about exist? Where's this evidence? Enlighten me, brother. I'm here to be taught.
And we can always, according to what we see, we can always say that the Olmec went over there. But that's so far-fetched. The out of America theory is far-fetched because guess what? These people handlers haven't agreed with that. So even though you find all this evidence that's suggesting that, because you haven't got that from a so-called white scholar, then you're going.
Who proposes an out of America theory? Who proposes? Yo, Honey Clark, where you at? Hey, where you at? Quit playing, bro. Where you at? Pull up, nigga. out of America with human origins from New World primates. This idea was first put forth by the Argentinian anthropologist and paleobiologist Florentino Ameghino in 1854-1911. Below, one can see Ameghino's version of primate phylogeny, in which hominid species found as fossils in the Old World, as well as living Homo sapiens, are derived as subtending from a pattern tree. Dismissed by Elise Harlicka and the rest of the scientific community, the New World primates, origin of modern humans, is now championed by Alva Hicks, a California-based self-taught anthropologist. Okay. And a one-time member of the Mother Tongue Group. He was profiled in the Los Angeles Times in '93. Out of America, I has no fossil evidence to support it. No fossil evidence to support it. So why the fuck is you proposing it? You ain't got no evidence to support it, but you out here proposing it, my nigga. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? Now to see, I know you listening. Or you snoring, nigga. Which one you doing? You listening or you snoring? Yep.
You want to kind of your claim for it and say that we just like some peons and y'all taught us this when y'all niggas never exhibited none of this shit in your country.
What? Huh? Huh? This may not be the most serious argument against it because up until 2005, we didn't have any fossil remains of African apes either. And we still have no gorilla fossils. And the primate fossil record in the New World is poor compared with mammals. Peep it. Why are we entertaining this? Get your motherfucking ass up here and read. Facts, Sutek. Tell her motherfucking ass. Come on, man. Don't do that, dude. We are at a critical point in our lives right here. We just heard a motherfucker say out of America theory. And he's taking it serious. And you want to sit here and say what you don't want to do. We are in a fight for our intelligence.
Sean, I don't want to read.
Bro, I ain't asked you what you didn't want to do, bro.
What are you reading?
You see my screen? You need the link.
No.
I know how you. I can give you the link to this pseudo shit. You like everything else, motherfucker.
Whatever.
All right, so
What are you
look,
reading?
I just put it in the private chat. You got it right there. You see it?
No.
Bro, you can pull it up on the other phone, bro. Come on.
Why are you acting?
Listen. Let's just read it from right here. Right here. That's it. Can you see it? Can you see it? for Out of Africa 1 to be correct. All right, you ready?
For what?
Man, you sound like a broken DJ.
Well,
You on 2 microphones. Which microphone you using? This nigga can't get in the door. All right, you straight?
I guess so. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. It's clear. Hold on, let me move the icon out the way. Boom. All right. We good.
Fight of America. Is that an I?
Just
To
one.
be correct.
Yeah.
Fight of America 1.
Yeah.
To be correct. All the genetic and biological similarities between Hamididae, Hylobatidae, and Sarcopithecidae. That's a lot.
Sarcopithecidae. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's made up hominids.
Sarcopithecidae.
Yeah. It's made up hominids for America.
Need to be reinterpreted very implausibly as homoplasies or products of convergent evolution. At the same time, under closer inspection, some of these physical traits can be polymorphic in New World primates. For instance, trichromacy fixed in catarrhines, the parvorter colonizing Old World monkeys, apes, and humans, but is polymorphic in New World primates, so that howler monkey matches catarrhines and having trichromatic color vision. Oh, okay, that makes sense. The late Pleistocene fossil monkey, Parluda veroni, from Cuba, shows the surprising presence of semi-terrestrial skeletal features. All living platyrines are almost exclusively arboreal. Supraorbital torus and low vault. These traits are present in Homo erectus and Neanderthals, as well as in incipient chin, suggesting a unique evolutionary path different from other platyrines. And Jeff Meldrum, 2006, postcranial remains of the extinct monkeys of the Greater Antilles, with evidence for semi-terrestriality in Paraluta. Okay, what the heck does that mean?
I don't know.
Porque all these words, I don't know what they mean.
All right. Paraloata veronia from Cuba shows a surprising presence of semi-terrestrial skeleton features. So we would have to look that up. We don't know what this is. Apparently, it's a Pleistocene fossil monkey, and that's the name of the monkey.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got that.
It's just hard to pronounce them. And the plethrines are almost exactly. Okay, so here's the thing about this all is this right here. Right? They're fishing for evidence that they do not have. This proposal of this theory concludes a lack of evidence. It said it earlier in the damn thing. They don't have it. They're just making a suggestion. They're throwing shit up against the wall and seeing if it sticks. And the motherfuckers who want to keep it alive are no other than the motherfuckers who think they need it for the validity of existence before anywhere else because of their belief. This supports their confirmation bias. In a way, even though it doesn't conclude that this is a remarkable find and that this article, and this evidence actually exists to argue against and propose and not argue against, but propose a out of America one. So what we want to do is, if we really want to deal with this out of America one, what is the evidence for out of America one? Do you know?
No.
The evidence for out of America, well, not really for out of America one, but the evidence for existence in the America, do you know? What's the oldest evidence that we have for anyone being in the Americas?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking if you know or not.
No, say I don't know.
Okay, that's smart.
Clovis people?
It's before the Clovis. But anyway, because we have 23,000-year-old footprints found in South America. I mean, not South America, but at that New Mexico site. So we have the oldest is 23,000 years. That's fossil. We don't have the bodies, but we got the fossil footprints. They fossilized. Okay. Now, the beauty of this is, why the fuck are they talking about goddamn Iwo Eleru in Nigeria in this article? That's interesting. But anyways, let me get back to it. So my point is this. Somewhere between less than 23,000 years ago, humans, Homo sapiens sapiens, entered this bitch and began to walk their ways around. So if they don't come into the Americas until 20,000 years ago, how the fuck are you got an out of America theory proposed? Does that make sense?
I guess no.
This is not a scientific site, by the way.
So would they? Okay. Are they taking away Homo sapiens and Neanderthals and Denisovans and all that?
Yeah, they dealing with any archaeological evidence. That's why they. Any evidence. That's why they were naming supposedly hominids. This was saying, look, this is for it to be correct. All the genetic and biological similarities between hominidae and then those weird names that you actually said need to be reinterpreted very implausibly as a homoplasis or products of convergent evolution. At the same time, under closer inspection, some of these physical traits can be polymorphic in the New World primates. For instance, Chicoromacy is fixed in the Catarians and the Pova orders, comprising Old World monkeys, apes, and humans. But we don't have that information. They are proposing some shit, like I said, which is pseudo. But go ahead. This is what else they call it. They propose all of this shit. You got to be ready for the pseudo. You ain't ready for the pseudo. You're going to add some elbows and then you're going to get mad when you come in to find this knowledge, and then you're going to get mad at me and Sutek and everybody else and say, why we ain't tell you this?
The elbows are not, they're on YouTube and TikTok. I haven't gone there yet. Out of America, too. It's stupid to think anything would come out of America.
Correct. There's no life here. Motherfuckers was coming into the Americas. How the fuck they coming out? The fossil record doesn't support it. That's why they said it is what it is.
Why don't we have the most peoples in these two continents?
What two continents? South America and America?
Yeah.
We don't know.
I mean, if we started here,
Ain't that many.
most of the people of the world should be like this way.
It ain't that many.
I don't understand. Then how did people come over here? I have questions. Okay, go ahead, because I don't understand.
What do you mean? There's no other way people got here. We already got the way they.
Are they trying to do? Is it like supposed to be the same as the out of Africa theory, but just like coming from America? Because I'm trying to understand, like, when did people come back here to enslave people?
It never grew legs. The point is, it never grew legs. Some dude proposed it with a lack of evidence and then admitted it in an article that they wrote. They said that it lacked evidence. And by the way, the website is not even a scientific website. So they're just proposing a counter hypothesis, right? To just do that. Everybody else is submitting one. Why the fuck they can't? They got out of Europe and out of, you know what I'm saying? Why they motherfuckers can't say out of America? But none of the indigenous people are saying out of America. Although they hold the belief that some culturally hold the belief that they always been here. Others say they come through the Beringer or the Celtic Highway. So we don't have to play those games. We got the fossil records and everything else. They don't have that shit. But hold on, let me let them go.
They never exhibited no Olmec culture outside of him connecting certain alphabets to the Mende language. He giving the Mende credibility or saying that they are the people who that's responsible for coming over here. The Olmecs built pyramids, my dude. So if we don't find no pyramids among the Mende, then I'm not going to sit here and allow that this to go on. We know language is universal. And we can always, according to what we see, we can always say that the Olmec went over there. But that's so far-fetched. The out of America theory is far-fetched because guess what? These people handlers haven't agreed with that. So even though you find all this evidence that's suggesting that, because you haven't got that from a so-called white scholar, then you're gonna kind of say that this is not a credible argument or credible source to even go off. So piece together.
It ain't even a fucking argument. What do you mean, or credible source, nigga? Because you ain't showed us nothing. You just sitting there bumping your fucking gums. How do we know if your source is credible if you never showed it? How can we qualify an uncredible source? What are we supposed to do? Take your word for it? When all the evidence points to motherfuckers coming into the Americas less than 23,000 years ago, you're about to tell me that y'all leaving up out this bitch and populating the rest of the world, nigga? I'm supposed to believe that. When we have the evidence, Listen, we got bones, DNA, footprints, mummies, mummified bodies on top of mountains, frozen, that help us support people coming into this motherfucker and being here at certain time periods. We don't have evidence of people packing up and traveling somewhere oceanic, surviving it and making it somewhere and populating it. We don't have that. Therefore, that's one of the most difficult things to deal with.
God, man, we got 68 people in the building. Send a video out, man. Hit the like button. The fuck we got going on here, man? All right.
Answer that question, but yeah, that's very interesting that you say that, and I mean that's what we hear just across the board, you know, with our people, so-called Black African American here. Like my granddad told me that his father was Blackfoot Indian, and I listened but didn't really understand until I started to look deeper.
He couldn't be Blackfoot, you know, because they the white man say the only Blackfoot live in Canada. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because you know, Blackfoot live in.
Hey, guess what, y'all? Guess what? There's two people on the panel lying about the Blackfoot. Because remember, recently I showed you that there's a Blackfoot Indian that's in a particular area who took a DNA test and has the oldest DNA evidence in North America. It goes back 17,000 years. What is it, 90-something generations? 55 generations. I said 90. Dumb. That was dumb. 55 generations. 55 generations. And I showed it several times before. Don't want to continue to show it, but it is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. What do you say about that? What up, man? You came back. What's up? Listen to this. He who is not educated by his parents will be educated by time. That is, he who does not acquire the manners needed in dealing with human beings from his parents, which includes teachers and elders, and does not learn these things from them, has to fall back upon learning them with the help of nature from the events that happen in the course of time. Thus, time will teach and educate him because he needs that education, since by his very nature, he needs the cooperation of others. Process that shit. Nah, bro, you know what I'm saying? None do. None do, bro. Yeah, Jennifer Ralph does. Nah, use one of you now. Stop being a bully, Sean. Yo, these motherfuckers crazy. Gullah said we got him rolling. Pseudo-historians love to claim the Mississippians and Mayans spoke the same language. I'm familiar with the Mississippi and Muscogee language. There's no similarities. we know. We know. We ain't no motherfucker. We know that. But they don't know that. They don't know that we know that we know. You know what I'm talking about? We like that Rich Homie Quan song. You know what I'm saying? This is how people forget. So in 2018, I dropped a post that talks about Portsmouth African Burial Ground. (2018). And people act like this ain't that real Skrilla, Manila, from the Villa. I'm gonna share it to the pseudos.
Please stop.
What?
What you just said, I don't just stop doing that. Just say the regular shit. But this is what I have a question for them. Are they putting everybody together because they think they're all the same people? Like when they're saying like Olmecs, Mayans, like all of that, are they putting them together?
They're making a mistake of lumping them all together. Yes.
So it's kind of like how they did like how they do Africa, where they act like Africa is like one people.
Oh. Same shit.
I mean, well, then you should understand the mistakes they're making.
No, they don't. Why? It's a belief that they have. They propose the belief that listen, Clyde Winters is the only motherfucker in this conversation that ain't generalizing Africa. He's being specific to a tribe. The other motherfucker on the other side of this conversation, which is Autistic One, he is generalizing and at the same time then recognizing distinctively tribal differences by naming the Mayan, the Olmec, the Inca, and yada, yada, yada. When he never brought up the Inca, but the Olmec and the Mayan, he has consistently said. But he did try to make them a one people. But he does not have the record or evidence to support nothing that he is saying. Therefore, we are stuck to believe whatever he is saying to be true or false because he said it. It's the dumbest shit in the world. This motherfucker made the show go a whole nother goddamn hour and a half or something longer than it should have. But I'm going to give him another 5 minutes. Let's see how stupid we can get in 5 minutes.
The North Carolina, Georgia. But see, what happened is this, is that, you know, a lot of people don't know. When they talk about, they always talk about the Buffalo and the West. But do you know what? My family is there in Delaware, so they're from Delaware. Okay, oh, he must be a Moor or something from Delaware. Anyway, so so back in the day, in a sense, you know, it's very important to understand that people really didn't understand a lot in terms.
Listen, this motherfucker talking in circles, and he trying to think of a lie that he want to tell every goddamn body. Look at how many times he's trying to get himself together. You know.
See, what happened is this, is that, you know, a lot of people don't know. When they talk about, they always talk about the Buffalo and the West. But do you know what? My family is there in Delaware, so they're from Delaware. Okay, oh, he must be a Moor or something from Delaware. Anyway, so so back in the day, in a sense, you know, it's very important to understand that people really didn't understand a lot in terms of history. And so our ancestors, they told us this stuff, but see, Buffalo used to be in Virginia. Buffalo used to be in Mississippi. Buffalo used to be in North Carolina. Yes, wow. The Buffalo was all the way here, but you don't see, but they killed them off quickly. See what happened? is the Mongoloid Indians. They followed the buffalo to the East Coast. When they came to the East Coast, you know, they were hunter-gatherers. They lived in teepees.
Yeah.
But see, foundational Black American Aboriginals, we built houses. We built
Yo, you got something you want to say? Because I'm done. This nigga said foundational African Aboriginals, we built houses. What the fuck was that? I'm done. I'm done.
Came to the East Coast, you know, they were hunter-gatherers. They lived in teepees.
Yeah.
But see, foundational Black American Aboriginals, we built houses. We built palisades. We built forts around. We built stockades around our houses. Yeah. See, when they talk about log cabin, all that brick houses, they got that from us. And so what happened is that we adopted the Mongoloid Indians. And then Benjamin Franklin, what he did, he said is that if the white man wanted to rule America, he should hook up with the red man. And by hooking up with the red man, he felt in a sense that they could turn their children white in a longer time. It takes about what? It takes about 3 generations to turn a black baby, a half-breed black baby into a white. Yeah. So, but they felt they could do it faster with the Indians. So what the European did is that he allowed the Mongoloid Indians to steal our names. Like that's why if you look at the 5 civilized tribes over there.
So the white man allowed y'all names to be stolen. Which one is it, Clyde Winters? Did Africans come to the Americas and do this, that, and the third? Or are you fucking an indigenous Black American, foundational Black American Aboriginal, and you've been here for a long ass time, and the white man allowed the fucking red man to steal your goddamn name? I'm confused.
I don't understand. Why would they want their name? Who's the red man? Where did they come from?
The motherfuckers was already here.
So what the heck is a Black foundational American Aboriginal?
He talking about the FBA. The what's the nigga name? The dude from California, the pimp. What? Hidden Colors.
No.
Look at Turtle Gang. Look at Turtle Gang. Turtle Gang, he is just as insane as the rest of them. Turtle Gang. Yo.
I'm not understanding when the white man
He disrespected part of your ancestry.
When did the white man get the power to allow somebody else to steal your name?
Yeah, Tariq Nasheed. I don't know. But
and what? How are you a Black Aboriginal? Like that movie that you were here. So some red people came out of nowhere and also were here. And then white people came and just start telling you what to do. Telling you both what to do.
Told both of them what to do. The white man was that powerful that he came and told both of these people what to do. Look at this.
And if white people could make white people with the red people, then why were they already all black?
Look at Thomas. He said, Clyde says, I stole his name because the white man allowed it. Yo. And what makes this bad is A1 is going to open his microphone and make it even worse. That's the fucked up part about this. The fucked up part about this is we know that Clyde is lying and making up shit. But the person on the other end of this video is about to open a button and add on to the more bullshit being made. Now we got 2 sides of pseudo. I can never go to sleep like a normal person at 11 o'clock at night. It's always 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I definitely ain't going to sleep now. I done heard this bullshit. This bullshit, man, I'm gonna have to watch a movie to get this shit out of my head. I'm gonna have to watch something. I'm gonna have to watch
Somebody gonna have to do a show about the history of like the Aboriginals according to them, and like have a compilation of all of their shit because it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
The Aboriginals gotta show their doctrine. Hold on, one more time for the people in the back. Ambrose, who is that? That's a sister. What's up? What you doing in the chat?
Came to the East Coast, you know, they were hunter-gatherers. They lived in teepees.
Yeah.
But see, foundational Black American Aboriginals, we built houses. We built palisades. We built forts around. We built stockades around our houses. Yeah. See, when they talk about log cabin, all that brick houses, they got that from us. And so what happened is that we adopted the Mongoloid Indians. And then Benjamin Franklin, what he did, he said
that they adopted the Mongoloid Indians. Why do you keep?
What were they building stockades for?
Do what now?
Why were they building stockades and all this stuff around their houses? Like, why were they doing?
Because it was something that they did for protection from other people.
But what other people?
The other people other tribes, like there was tribal wars. It was a defense mechanism.
So Aboriginal people who were already here.
Why you can't understand?
Adopted.
Do you have an alarm? No, slow down.
Listen
to what I'm going to say. Just listen to what I'm going to say, and then it's going to answer your question. Do you have an alarm in your home? Like cameras, Ring doorbell, anything like that?
Yeah.
Right. That's what the fucking building the shit around your house is.
But I understand that if you were saying that there was lots of people here, but when you're saying that you're the original people from here, who are you barricading yourself just from other people? Like they were just violent against each other?
Other people, yes, there were tribal wars. Did you not do the Bloods and Crips beef?
Listen, the Native Americans have different tribes. I've never heard
different tribes. You never heard of Indian wars? There's Indian wars.
Yes, I know that they did, but I've never heard of Aboriginals saying they had different tribes of Aboriginals.
Listen to me. He is superimposing his bullshit on them. Why you ain't catch that? You know goddamn well right that there was no fucking Aboriginals here. The only motherfucking that was Aboriginal was the actual paleo natives that were here.
I understand.
That's it.
I understand them. Their words. So if you're trying to, make the things here.
Listen. It's real simple. The Native Americans build teepees and shit like that, and then they would build like protection around them to keep the community in. And they had a gateway to where you can enter in and leave out. It was to protect them from their enemies. So if their enemies came to try to attack them, they would have to invade them through one particular right that they can defend. So they can defend that, right? So hold on 1 second. He trying to say they responsible for that shit. But what no motherfuckers building no goddamn houses 15,000 years ago, 8,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago.
Yeah, no, he said go ahead.
He said what?
He said they was log cabins and stuff they got from them.
That wasn't built no damn log cabins.
I know that.
They were not. And TPs wasn't they shit. So I'm finna show you a structure that's in Virginia to give you a general idea of how the shit looked. Now, when I share my screen and show you this, behind it, you should see the gates. You see that little fence behind there? Kind of like motherfuckers got in their backyard. This is how they structures were built. We ain't got to make this shit up. The structures was built like that, and they were enclosed in wooden fences that they put up together for protection. So if motherfuckers wanted to get at them, they would have to get at least 6 feet, 8 feet, somewhere around there, over that, to even, you know what I'm saying, or climb up in trees and hit their ass with them arrows if it was real beef. These are things that we know. So I don't understand why he's sitting here and he's saying, well, we build houses. This right here is the earliest depiction of this shit in Virginia, how the Native Americans did they shit. And I showed this on a website before because this is when the goddamn Europeans come up in there and get an idea of how the motherfuckers was living. This is how it looked. From an artistic expression, you see this little walkway into their shit? They could protect this area right here. But they would defend themselves. They would defend themselves and like this and create their little village. And that's why they always met in the center of the village, and they did all their song, dance, work, and all kind of other shit right there in the center of their shit. This shit was set up as a defense mechanism. They would go out and hunt, come back and bring their food in from their hunts like normal motherfuckers would, and the whole little village would eat. Now, can you see this? Clearer now. It's got a name. This little shit got a name. The way they designed it, they got names. It's called a Yahakans, houses. Yehakan. Somebody can correct me on that. Thomas or Kevin, one of you motherfuckers can correct me on that. So again, these were the Native American structures. I don't know why I came back to the same source. I was trying to go to another source. See that? The image is in there too. But you know, you click on this shit, it's going to give you more information about the image. The watercolor was painted by John White, shows the fortified Indian town of the Pomiac of the Outer Banks region of present-day North Carolina. White visited the town in July 1585. There they go. The copper color, red man. God damn, y'all. The fuck is he talking about?
We built stockades around our houses. See, when they talk about log cabin, all that brick houses, they got that from us. And so what happened is that we adopted the Mongoloid Indians. And then Benjamin Franklin, what he did, he said is that...
What the fuck? I still don't understand that part. He went from adopting the Mongoloids to... I don't even know how... what was the earliest adoption in American history? Let's look that up. This nigga just confused the fuck out of me. The oldest adoption is 1851. Massachusetts implemented a statute that recognized adoption as a social and legal status. So they was adopting the Native Americans in 1851. Oh, y'all don't believe me? Okay, my bad. There you go.
that if the white man wanted to rule America, he should hook up with the red man. And by hooking up with the red man, he felt in a sense that they could turn their children white in a longer time. It takes about what? It takes about 3 generations to turn a black baby, a half-breed black baby into a white. Yeah. So, but they felt they could do it faster with the Indians. So what the European did is that he allowed the Mongoloid Indians to steal our names. Like that's why if you look at the 5 civilized tribes over there in Oklahoma, they all led by white people today.
Mm. Yeah, that's crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy. They look just like the so-called colonizers.
They are the colonizers because they're not. See, because it's all made up. Because what happened is that when they did the Doll Roll, after the end of the Civil War, what happened is that they sent a commission around the United States to try to register the so-called indigenous population of America, the Aboriginals. But see, what they did is that instead of listing us as Americans, they listed us as freemen. And so all the black Indians, they're listed on the Doll's Roll as freemen.
Watch, here come A1.
But we will realize that credit as Indians.
And what I say is, I agree with him on that because
yo, right on cue, nigga. Right on cue, nigga. Right on motherfucking cue. Right on, man. Listen, y'all. It's been real. I need me a good 8-hour nap. I got something private that I got to take care of.
An 8-hour nap.
Yep, that's what it's gonna feel like. Cause I'm gonna get up a couple times. I need the next 30 minutes to watch some kind of TV to make me laugh or something. Cause I don't want to be haunted by this bullshit all night. When I close my eyes and see Clyde Winters and Autistic One talking about some dumb ass shit that they can't prove. Neither one of these Negroes, bro. That's why they want to debate all the time. Hey, that's why Autistic One want to debate all the time. He come up with a new lie. He got to sell that to his people because he got people believing that shit. Yep.
He said that I agree with him on.
Yeah.
These your people. Okay, good night.
Nah, nigga, them your people, nigga. Fuck out of here. Them your people.
I don't know them.
Peace out. All right, y'all. I'm about this bitch, man. I can't do it no more. I'm sorry. I appreciate y'all typing in, man, but I can't do this. I can't do this. This is the most pseudo. This is double. Listen, I can do one pseudo. I cannot do two at the same time. I don't even know how I tolerated it this long. Like, they really messed me up mentally. I feel scarred, scholastically scarred by the bullshit that I heard in this video. I highly suggest no one play this shit back beyond the information provided early on in the stream. If you made it this far, go have a drink.
We are the victims of our own innocence We didn't expect it. We were so unsuspecting. Some of us participated in it without knowing what we were doing. And to understand it, there's 200 years of history you're going to have to look at. 1400 to 1600. It's the major turning point in world history. At the end of these 200 years, the world would never, ever be the same again. Europe had come out of its bag. It had rescued itself at our expense. It had learned longitude and latitude again. Had learned how to handle ships. They had, in their search for Asia and the spices and the sweets of Asia, they had discovered Africa en route, the greater prize. We are the victims of our own innocence. We didn't expect it. We were so unsuspecting. Some of us participated in it without knowing what we were doing.
Big die, I got the game in the chokehold like a slip knot. Too much ambition, I got too much drive. I probably due for a pitch die. Black die, reppin' the team, reppin' the squad like a mascot. Yeah, I'm the one, you know that I got it, but I still speak for the have-nots. Big die, I got the game in the chokehold like a slip knot. Too much ambition, I got too much drive. I'm probably due for a pitch die. Black die, reppin' the team, reppin' the squad like a mascot. Yeah, I'm the one, you know that I got it, but I still speak for the have-nots. Yeah. It's been a hell of a run. I done bagged all of the women I wanted to bag. I probably should slow down and settle with one. Probably should hit up my mama and tell her my problem. She always wanna pray for her son. Tell her I got it, it's nothing your God could do for me. I feel much more safe with a gun. Look what I've done, just look at what I've become. They thought I was stuck in the mud, I done came up. They gotta pay like I weigh, I made them double the funds. Niggas be hating, probably cause they wifey like me and she wanna give me the buns. She got a friend, told her that she can come too because two heads is better than one. My competition is none.